Before we begin, let me know where you're tuning in from down in the comments. And if you enjoy this story, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss our next tale. I still remember the day I first stepped off that plane, suitcase in hand, with Cassandra by my side. Back then, I believed our move would be a fresh start. Now I'm not so sure. It's early spring, and the brisk wind off Lake Holloway greets us like an old friend, though I haven't lived here since I was 18. I glance at Cassandra, who's fiddling with her phone. She looks up at the sky, then at me, and forces a little smile. We've been married 6 years, but I can sense her tension. Maybe it's the cold. Maybe it's something else. "Lucas, do you think your folks' old place will be ready by next week?" she asks. "We've arranged temporary lodging in a small rental house because my late parents' home needs upgrades. The hardwood floors squeak, the windows are drafty, and the plumbing's outdated. But it's our best bet in this quiet corner of the country." "I'm sure it'll be fine," I reply. "Russell, the contractor, said they're moving quickly." I look at the horizon. I used to run daily along these roads back when I was training for my Ranger unit. My body was lean, my stamina endless. Now, after retiring from active duty and settling into an office role these past few years, I'm about 30 pounds heavier than I'd like. Cassandra notices me fall silent. She sighs. "Hey, if you want to walk, we can walk. It's been a long plane ride. The place isn't far." We head to the rental, a modest, own-story house with a bare patch of yard. Inside, it's sparsely furnished. A couch, a dining table, a bed we ordered online. The moment we step in, Cassandra checks the thermostat. 70 degrees, she murmurs. Still feels chilly. She clicks it up a couple notches, then peers at me. "Lucas, you're okay, right? We've been distant." She's not wrong. Tension has lingered since last month, when she commented on my weight in front of her friend Betrayal. It wasn't a passing remark. It felt like a jab. Maybe she didn't realize how deeply it stung, but from that moment, an ache began to form in my gut, one that had nothing to do with physical fitness. "I'm fine," I say, though my tone sounds too clipped. She sets her phone on the table. "Well, I have to call Betrayal later. She wants to visit." Betrayal. The name rings like a warning bell. I met her only once at a wedding a few years ago. She was the life of the party, chatty, stylish, and sharper with words than most. I can't say I ever felt comfortable around her. Cassandra described her as a fun friend from college, but to me, she was more of a troublemaker. "I guess that's good," I manage, not wanting to argue on day one of our move. "It'll be nice for you to have a friend in town." Cassandra nods, lips pursed. "She's actually relocating a few hours away, so maybe we can see each other more often." Something in my chest tightens. I'm not sure why. Maybe it's the knowledge that I won't be the only new presence here, and I'm not entirely certain how Betrayal will influence Cassandra. We didn't move here for a social life. We moved because this is where I grew up, because the place I once called home has always called me back. I also thought the quieter environment would give our marriage a chance to refocus. Later that evening, after unpacking a few boxes, we walked to a nearby diner called Kaylee's Kitchen. The neon sign out front flickers K_Y_E_kit_he_, but inside it's warm and bustling with locals. I find a corner booth. Cassandra slides in across from me, scanning the laminated menu. "You want your usual burger?" she asks, a hint of caution in her voice. I realize she's referencing my love of bacon cheeseburgers. Slowly, I close my menu. "Maybe just a grilled chicken salad," I say, the words feeling forced. Her eyebrows lift. She half smiles, half frowns. "That's good," she replies. "A healthy start." The comment is innocuous, but the subtext is there. You need to lose weight. Maybe she's right. But as someone who served in the military for over 2 decades, that conversation always stings. I used to run 5 miles every morning. Now I watch the scale creep up, and I can't help but feel the uniform, my entire identity, slipping away. We finish dinner mostly in silence. Outside, the cool wind has turned to a gentle drizzle, so we hurry back. I notice Cassandra texting on her phone, her expression brightening. "Betrayal says hi," she reports. "She's excited to come." I fight the urge to roll my eyes. "That's great. Maybe we can all have dinner sometime." Inside the rental, we settle onto the couch. The overhead light hums faintly. Cassandra flips on the TV, but neither of us pays attention to the show. I glance at her side profile. She's a beautiful woman, no doubt. Tawny hair, intense blue eyes, a sharp wit. I admire her energy. It's just lately she's been more critical, or maybe I've been more sensitive. Possibly both. "What's on your mind?" she asks, muting the TV. I realize I've been staring. "I was just thinking about how different everything will be here," I say. "This town isn't exactly bustling like the city." She sighs softly. "I know, and that's okay. We talked about wanting a peaceful life, a place to call our own." Before I can respond, my phone buzzes. An old buddy from the service, Colton Pierce, sends me a text. "Heard you're back in Redwood Falls. Grab a beer sometime?" I tap out a quick yes. It's nice to know I still have some ties to my past. As we wind down for the night, Cassandra heads to the bedroom first. I linger in the living room, lights off, letting my eyes adjust to the gloom. There's a knot of worry in my stomach. It's more than just my weight or Cassandra's remarks. It's the sense that something is drifting between us, unspoken and uncertain. Perhaps it's the fear that I'm not the man I used to be. Tomorrow we'll visit my parents' old house. Then the day after, I'm supposed to meet Russell about the renovations. Meanwhile, Cassandra and I will continue tiptoeing around the elephant in the room, my health, our relationship, and soon enough the arrival of Betrayal Kane, who might either help Cassandra cope with the move or push us further apart. For a moment, I consider following Cassandra to the bedroom, offering a warm hug or some assurance that we'll be fine. But something stops me. Maybe it's pride. Maybe it's a flicker of anger at her earlier tone in the diner. Maybe it's the memory of that incident with Brielle's remarks months ago about how some young men at the gym are so much more motivated. I shake off the thought, heading down the hall. By the time I enter our small, unadorned bedroom, Cassandra is already under the covers, eyes shut. I slide in beside her, careful not to disturb. The hum of the heating system lulls me, but my mind refuses to rest. I stare at the ceiling in the dimness, listening to the rain patter on the roof. I can't shake the sensation that our move back here is going to test us in ways we never expected. And if Cassandra is truly disappointed in my appearance or my seeming complacency, I wonder how much time we have before that disappointment grows into something irreversible, something that might unravel the very foundation of our marriage. Eventually, I close my eyes, reminding myself that tomorrow is another day. Another chance to fix what's broken if only I can figure out how. The next morning, I wake to a dull ache in my lower back, a sign that our makeshift bed is less than ideal. Cassandra has already risen. I hear her in the kitchen, presumably making coffee. I shuffle out, hair still tousled from sleep, to find her standing by the window, phone in hand. Steam rises from 2 mugs. "Morning," I murmur, trying to inject warmth into my tone. She turns around, offering me one of the cups. "Morning, Lucas," she replies softly. "I was looking up local gyms. There's one near the hardware store. Could be a good place for you to get back in the groove." She says it as casually as possible, but the implication is there. You've let yourself go. I swallow a flicker of irritation and take a sip. "Sure, maybe," I reply, forcing a small smile. "What about you? Will you join me?" Cassandra shrugs, pushing a strand of hair behind her ear. "I might. But you know I haven't put on any weight, so it's not as urgent for me. I'm more of a yoga person anyway." The remark stings. "Right," I say flatly. "Well, I guess I'll check it out later." Her phone buzzes. She glances at it, then brightens. Brielle texted. She's driving up next weekend, wants to see the new place. I stiffen. "Already? We're barely settled?" Cassandra sets her mug on the table. "She's spontaneous, and we might need the company." I inwardly groan. "Sure," I manage, heading to the suitcase in the corner to rummage for fresh clothes. I decide to let it slide. There's no point in causing friction over a visit that hasn't happened yet. After breakfast, we drive to Redwood Falls Gym. Its modest cinder block walls, a few treadmills, a rack of weights. The manager, Mark Rafferty, recognizes me from high school. He's aged, too, his once muscular arms now softer, but he greets me like I'm a hometown hero. "Well, look who's back," Mark exclaims with a grin. "Lucas Merrick. Heard you served overseas? Thank you for that." "Glad to be home," I say, nodding. Cassandra stands by, scanning the facility. Mark gestures toward the treadmills. We got a membership special if you sign up today. Couples discount, too. I give Cassandra a sidelong glance. She shrugs, folding her arms. We'll see, I say to Mark, who just chuckles and hands me a flyer. As we leave, Cassandra says in a low voice, "He recognized you so quickly, but you barely recognized him." I shrug. Been a long time. People change. Her expression tightens momentarily, and the implication surfaces again. Yes, you changed. Back at the rental, we have lunch sandwiches and fruit. Cassandra quietly flips through local job listings on her tablet. She used to do freelance graphic design, which she can continue anywhere, but she's looking for a more structured position. I found a listing for a design consultant, she mentions. Might apply. That's great, I respond, keeping my tone upbeat. Then I notice a shadow crossing her face. She sets the tablet down. Lucas, there's something we need to talk about. She hesitates, eyes flicking toward me. I've been worried about your health for a while. I mean, you used to be in phenomenal shape, and I know you still do some workouts, but not enough. My jaw tightens. I was focusing on transitioning from active duty, finding stable work, I say. I guess I let myself slide. Her hands coil together on the tabletop. It's not just your weight. Sometimes you seem angry or distant. I can't tell if it's because you miss your old life in the army or if it's something I did. A strange, bitter laugh rises in my chest. I'm just adjusting. The stress is new for me, too. I appreciate your concern, but it feels like I'm under a microscope. She exhales, shoulders slumping. I don't mean it that way. I just don't want to lose the spark we had. And Brielle, she stops. What about Brielle? I ask. Cassandra lifts her gaze, meeting mine. She said I should be honest with you. If you don't take care of yourself, you might risk losing me. Not that I'm planning on leaving you, but, I echo. My pulse quickens. So Brielle's not even here yet, but she's already stirring up trouble. You think I'm going to lose you if I don't drop 20 pounds? She flushes, shaking her head. It's not that simple. It's about your attitude, how you won't talk about what's bothering you. Sometimes you won't even look at me. My frustration boils over. You want me to talk? Let's talk about how humiliating it is to have your wife's friend comment on how young men are more motivated than you. Let's talk about how that made me feel like I'm not enough. Cassandra's eyes widen. I didn't realize it hurt you that much. Of course it did, I say, voice taut. But I tried to ignore it. Now here we are. She rubs her temples. I'm sorry. Really, I never meant to hurt you. It's just Brielle can be blunt. Sometimes she says things, and I don't shut her down because I assume you can handle it. You're always so stoic. My heart thumps hard. Stoic or not, I'm a human being. You can't expect me to just shrug it off. A tense silence follows. Finally, Cassandra stands, clearing our plates. Let's not fight. Maybe we should just take a break from this conversation. I watch her walk to the sink, shoulders rigid. I'm torn. Part of me wants to apologize for my harsh tone, but another part of me refuses to back down. It is humiliating to be compared to nameless younger men. In my army days, I commanded respect. Now I feel overshadowed by the memory of who I used to be. I decide to go for a walk. Outside, the midday sun peeks through the clouds. Redwood Falls, a town I once knew intimately, has changed too. New shops, fresh roadwork, housing developments. I pass by a small cafe, noticing a help wanted sign on the door, and keep going. Memories of my teenage self, jogging down these very streets at dawn, merge with the present. The difference is I'm heavier, older, maybe more guarded. After half an hour, I return. Cassandra is in the living room, scribbling notes in a journal. She looks up, expression still wounded. I want us to be okay, she says softly. I nod, feeling a tug of guilt. I do too. Let's figure out a plan. I'll try the gym. I'll eat better. But I need you to respect my process, not just push me. She sets the journal aside. Deal. Then, hesitating, she adds, Brielle said she'll be here Saturday. I'd like you two to talk, clear the air. I'm not sure if that's a great idea, but I smile faintly. Let's see how that goes, I say. Inside, I'm bracing myself. Cassandra's frustration is now out in the open. and Brielle unapologetically vocal will soon bring more tension. But as the night falls again and we share a quietly awkward dinner, I can't deny that a spark of conflict has already been ignited. How big the fire will get remains to be seen. Saturday arrives faster than I anticipated, and with it, Brielle Kane. She rolls into our short driveway in a sleek white SUV, stepping out in a pair of sunglasses that reflect the midday sun. My first thought is that she looks exactly the same as the last time I saw her, impeccably dressed, a confident tilt to her chin, and a not-so-subtle aura of superiority. "Hello, Lucas," she says, sliding her glasses into her purse. "Long time no see." "Hello, Brielle," I reply, keeping my voice neutral. Cassandra is at my side, offering polite hugs. "Come in," Cassandra says brightly, ushering Brielle into our rental's cramped living room. "We'll show you around." We do a brief tour, which doesn't take long given the small space. Brielle's gaze darts across our modest furnishings, a polite smile plastered on her lips. I can almost see the gears turning in her head. She comments on the layout, the cozy vibe, and how Redwood Falls is so different from the city she's used to. We settle on the couch. Cassandra offers iced tea. Brielle shakes her head. "I'm good. Actually," she says, turning to me. "Cass told me about your plan to get back in shape. You must be so excited, no more excuses." Her words come out in a sing-song manner, but I sense the barb beneath them. My chest tightens. "I'm taking it day by day," I say coolly. Cassandra sits between us, looking slightly anxious. "Brielle, we've had a lot going on with the move and everything. Maybe we should talk about that." But Brielle sets her sights on me. "I only say it because I care," she insists. "Cassandra deserves the best. You both deserve the best. If that means a little nudge, so be it." That little nudge feels more like a shove. I rake my fingers through my hair. "Thanks for your concern. I'll keep it in mind." Cassandra, sensing the tension, stands. "Let's grab lunch in town," she suggests. "There's a spot called the Amber Oak that's nice." Brielle agrees, and within 20 minutes we're seated at the Amber Oak, a cozy eatery known for local produce. The conversation is stilted at first, some small talk about Redwood Falls, the weather, how Brielle's job search is going. She apparently left her old position under a cloud of drama, but frames it like she's on the brink of better opportunities. Midway through the meal, Brielle leans toward Cassandra, whispering something. Cassandra laughs awkwardly. I only catch a snippet. "Maybe a younger gym buddy." My gut clenches. I know exactly what direction that comment is going. When lunch ends, Brielle excuses herself to take a phone call. Cassandra glances at me. "She's trying to help in her way," she says apologetically. "Her way feels insulting," I reply. "I'm your husband, not a charity case." Cassandra's shoulders slump. "I understand. I'll talk to her tonight. We're going to hang out at her hotel, maybe get drinks. Do you mind?" I want to say yes, I do mind. But I exhale. "Go ahead. I need to swing by Dad's house anyway, check on renovations." When we finish, I drive Cassandra and Brielle back to the rental. Brielle picks up her car. They wave goodbye, leaving me standing in the driveway feeling both relieved and worried. It hits me then. I can't just sit back and let Brielle's influence drive a wedge between me and Cassandra. I need to protect myself. I head to my parents' old house. The exterior is partly repainted, and Russell's truck is parked out front. Inside, drop cloths cover the living room floor, and I hear hammering in the back. Russell emerges, wiping sweat from his brow. "Lucas, perfect timing. We're making good progress. Might even be done by next weekend." I nod, stepping carefully around the cloths. "Good to hear, Russell. Let me know if you need anything else." After a brief chat, I climb the creaky stairs to my old bedroom. Dust motes dance in the sunlight through the window. Nostalgia tugs at me, half-forgotten trophies, a discolored spot on the wall where a poster once hung. I sink onto the old wooden bed frame. This is where I used to plan my future as a teenager, believing I'd conquer the world. I had discipline, drive, and clarity. Now I'm older, heavier, wrestling with a subtle humiliation I never expected to face. A voice in my head whispers, "Do something about it. Stop letting them push you around." A vibration in my pocket startles me. It's a text from Colton Pierce, my old army buddy. "Haven't seen you at the bar yet. Everything all right?" I decide to answer with a call instead. "Lucas, good to hear your voice," Colton says. "Yeah, I'm good. Just dealing with a few family matters." He picks up on my tone. "You never were much for vagueness. Let me guess something's going on with Cassandra?" I sigh. "Something like that. She's got a friend, Brielle, who's been stirring the pot." Colton hums. "Well, you know I've got your back. Need me for anything, I'm here. Sometimes we gotta watch out for folks who try to undermine us." A half smile tugs at my lips. "Appreciate that. Actually, I might. Thinking of setting up some safeguards." Colton's tone hardens in a supportive way. "Say the word. I can put you in touch with a few local contacts. And if you need to keep an eye on things, well, you know how we do it." After the call, my mind is racing. Safeguards, cameras, ways to document if Cassandra or Brielle do anything to sabotage my reputation or to push Cassandra into questionable behavior. In the Army, I specialized in intelligence gathering. Why not apply that skill set now, discreetly? By the time I lock up the house and head back outside, the sun is dipping low. I realize Cassandra and Brielle are probably sipping cocktails at some bar, chatting about me. The rumbling in my chest is part anger, part determination. As I drive toward the rental, I mentally catalog the steps I'll take. I'll talk to a few reliable people, set up cameras if needed, keep my finances secure. Because there's something else gnawing at me. A remark from Cassandra last night about how Brielle said I might lose her. That's not a benign statement. If there's a chance they're discussing more dramatic measures like a divorce or an affair, I want to be ready. Back home, I check the empty living room. Cassandra isn't back yet. The space feels hollow under the faint overhead light. I step into the small office nook by the kitchen, boot up my old laptop. I've got enough knowledge to set up remote cameras. I'll do it carefully with discrete devices. The notion that I have to spy on my wife churns my stomach. But then I recall Brielle's pointed comments about younger men, and Cassandra's uneasy expression whenever my weight comes up. If they're plotting something behind my back, no. Let me rephrase. If anyone is plotting anything, I want to be the first to know. I swallow the guilt. This is survival mode. I reassure myself it's just precautionary. If I'm wrong, no harm done. But if I'm right, I could save myself from a far worse betrayal or a sneaky attempt to undermine everything I've built. Footsteps outside snap me out of my reverie. Cassandra enters, the smell of perfume and city night air swirling around her. She looks tired but also oddly flushed, as though she's been laughing or engaged in intense conversation. "How was your evening?" I ask casually, as if I'm not already planning my own covert operation. She must sense something in my tone because her eyes narrow a fraction. But she only says, "It was fine. Brielle's heading back to her hotel." My mind whirs with possibilities. "Okay," I say, forcing a small smile. "I'm going to call it a night soon." Cassandra nods, and an uneasy stillness settles between us. We both know there's a tension neither of us is addressing head-on, but I'm done playing the clueless husband. If Brielle wants to meddle in my marriage, if Cassandra is tempted, as I overheard, I will find out. And so, as I lie awake in bed that night, I finalize my plan, gather evidence, secure my assets, and ensure I'm not caught off guard again. The rumblings of a deeper conflict are there, and I'm prepared to meet them head-on. Morning light filters through the thin curtains of our rental. I'm already awake, mind buzzing with the tasks ahead. Cassandra sleeps soundly beside me, strands of hair fanned across the pillow. For a moment, I watch her recalling the days when our biggest concern was whether we'd go hiking or stay in on a lazy weekend. Now we teeter on the edge of something darker. I slip out of bed and quietly dress. Stepping into the living room, I open my laptop. I've done preliminary research on small, motion-activated cameras. I know exactly what features I need. Discrete size, easy Wi-Fi connectivity, secure storage. My phone chimes. It's a text from Colton. "Got your back whenever you're ready." A wave of relief passes through me. In the military, Colton was the guy who could acquire resources quickly. No questions asked. Cassandra stirs, emerging from the hallway in pajamas. She sees me hunched over the computer. "Doing some work?" "Just checking a few things," I say, forcing a smile. "How'd you sleep?" She shrugs. "All right. My head's pounding a bit, maybe from the drinks last night." I keep my voice neutral. You and Brielle have a good time? Mm-hmm, she replies, heading to the kitchen to start coffee. She's looking for a new job. We mostly talked about that. I don't press further. Part of me wants to pry, but I maintain my calm. Later, I'll gather my own information. For now, I simply say, I'm going to run errands after breakfast. Need anything? She thinks for a moment. Could you grab some groceries? We're out of fruit. Sure. Once I'm out of the house, I call Colton. He picks up after one ring. Lucas, ready to move? I nod, though he can't see me. Yes. I want a few small cameras and some kind of audio capture if possible. He exhales. I can get them by tomorrow. You also want me to set you up with a local contact for, let's say, discreet monitoring if your wife goes somewhere suspicious? My throat tightens. Let's hold off on that. For now, I'll handle it personally, but keep the option open. We hang up. I swing by an electronics store to buy items I can't leave a trace of: some extra memory cards, a portable external drive, cables. Then I pick up the groceries for Cassandra. By the time I get home, she's already changed into jeans and a sweater, busy on a phone call in the living room. I overhear bits of her conversation. Yes, I can send over my design samples this week. Redwood Falls is quieter than I expected, of course. It's an adjustment. She sees me and waves, continuing her call in a softer tone. I unpack the groceries, thinking about where to place the cameras. The rental has a modest layout: living room, small office nook, kitchen, bedroom, and a tiny second bedroom used for storage. Perhaps one camera in the living room, another near the front door to catch anyone coming or going, a third, if possible, in the office area. I won't put any in the bedroom. That crosses a line, at least for now. When Cassandra ends her call, she steps into the kitchen. I got a lead on some contract work, she says, sounding more upbeat. Might help offset the renovation costs at your parents' place. That's great, I say sincerely. Really glad to hear it. A small flicker of warmth passes between us. For a brief second, I wonder if I'm overreacting. Could Brielle's negativity be overshadowing the real Cassandra, who might just be concerned about me? Then I remember their hush-hush conversation at lunch, and Cassandra's mention of temptation. No, I have to stay vigilant. By late afternoon, I claim I need to meet an old friend and slip away to see Colton. He's rented a small workshop on the outskirts of Redwood Falls for his personal projects, perfect for our discreet dealings. He greets me with a firm handshake and a duffel bag. Cameras, recorders, the works, he says. You'll need to pair them with a secure router. You know how to do that? I nod, unzipping the bag to inspect the items. They're small, unremarkable black cubes that could easily blend into a corner. The audio devices are disguised as phone chargers. Perfect. How's everything else? Colton asks, leaning back against a workbench. You all right? I pause, not sure how much I want to share. It's complicated. Cassandra might be under pressure from her friend. I can't tell if she's just venting or if she actually wants out. Colton's expression softens. Marriage can be rough, especially after transitions. Just be sure you're not seeing ghosts where there aren't any. Believe me, I hope I am, I say. But I overheard enough to make me cautious. He slaps my shoulder in a supportive gesture. Understood, man. Whatever you decide, keep me posted. Back at the rental, Cassandra is scrolling through job listings on the couch. I manage to hide the duffel bag in the trunk of my car, taking out only one camera at a time and slipping it inside discreetly. I wait until Cassandra decides to step out for a moment to the post office, I believe, before swiftly placing the first camera behind a potted plant in the living room. My hands tremble slightly from the rush of adrenaline. It feels wrong, but I can't stop. I place another camera behind a stack of books on a small shelf near the front entrance. The final device, a disguised charger, I plug into the office nook. I configure them on my laptop to sync automatically, storing backups on an encrypted folder. It takes about 20 minutes, but by the time Cassandra returns, everything's set. I'm in the living room, pretending to watch a news report on TV. Busy day? She asks, dropping a handful of mail on the side table. Just picked up some things for the house, I say casually. Do we have any dinner plans? She shrugs. We could order pizza. I'm not really in the mood to cook tonight. Pizza sounds good, I say, ignoring the irony that I'm apparently supposed to be losing weight. Still, I'm not going to argue about one meal. She calls in the order. While we wait, I open a small conversation about her new design lead. She describes the company, Redwood Creative Solutions, a small local firm. I nod, making encouraging noises. Her face lights up when discussing design programs and color palettes. It's a glimmer of the Cassandra I fell in love with. A knock on the door signals the pizza's arrival. We settle in the living room, flipping through channels. I'm conscious that the camera perched behind the plant is likely capturing everything. The sensation is surreal I'm in my own home, but the act feels like I'm operating in enemy territory. When we finish eating, Cassandra mentions taking a shower. As soon as she leaves, I grab my laptop and slip into the office nook. With a few keystrokes, I connect to the camera feeds. The living room feed shows me, hunched in the nook. The resolution is decent, the angle wide enough to catch the sofa, TV, and front door. Satisfied, I close the laptop, heart pounding. I need to keep up the facade, so I join Cassandra in the bedroom, where I politely ask about her day, about Brielle's next visit. She gives vague answers. Brielle might come by next month, or we'll see how her job search goes. Eventually, the night winds down. Cassandra drifts off to sleep with surprising ease. I, on the other hand, stay awake, listening to the quiet hum of the furnace. There's no turning back now. If Cassandra and Brielle plan to push me into a corner, I'll have evidence to counter them. Yet behind my carefully orchestrated plan, a dull ache gnaws at me. A wish that I didn't have to do this, a wish that trust could be enough. But the rumblings of betrayal are there, subtle, creeping, impossible to ignore. And so, surveillance is set. My old army reflexes are back, fueled by the fear of losing not just my marriage, but also my dignity. I might be heavier than before, but my mind is sharper than ever. If there's one thing I excel at, it's strategy, and I have a feeling I'll need every ounce of it in the days to come. I wake earlier than usual, the glow of morning creeping through the blinds of our modest rental. My mind replays last night's tension. The guarded looks Cassandra gave me, the sense she was weighing a decision. As I slip into the kitchen, I notice her already seated at the table, a stack of papers in front of her. She seems lost in thought, nursing a half-empty mug of coffee. "Morning," I say cautiously. She looks up, managing a tight smile. "Morning, Lucas. We need to talk." My stomach tightens. "Sure. Everything okay?" She slides the papers toward me. I wrote something up, sort of a contract. For a moment, I stare, half expecting a prank. But her expression is serious, maybe even grim. I skim the top page and my pulse quickens. Weight loss requirements, monthly goals, no intimacy until you reach each milestone, consequences if you fail. "Where's this coming from?" I ask, though I have an inkling. Brielle's name almost leaves my mouth, but I hold back. Cassandra bites her lip. "I've been thinking about your health for a while. This move was supposed to be a fresh start, but nothing's changed. I'm worried, Lucas. Worried you've given up on yourself." I swallow a surge of anger. "I told you I'd work on it, but drawing up a whole contract? That feels extreme." Her shoulders stiffen. "I don't want to watch you slip further away. And yes, Brielle encouraged me to push you. She's blunt, but she's not wrong. You need a concrete plan, or you'll never commit." I press my lips together, scanning the bullet points. No sexual contact until a 5-pound weight loss each month. If you fail any month, Cassandra reserves the right to go out alone, as she puts it, implying nights at bars or gatherings. The arrangement will last until I lose a total of 60 pounds, or at least approach it significantly. My chest burns with a mix of humiliation and rage. "So you're just going to punish me with no affection? You realize how it sounds, right?" Her gaze flickers. "Lucas, I'm desperate. I love you, but I can't keep pretending we're fine. I need you healthy, and well, attractive the way you used to be." I force a slow exhale. Stay calm, I remind myself. If I lose my temper now, it just confirms I'm unstable. "All right," I say carefully. "I'll consider it." She arches an eyebrow. "Just consider?" I set the pages down. "I'm not thrilled, Cassandra. This is insulting. But if it means that much to you, I'll sign. Under one condition, no more public shaming. We do this privately. She nods, relief mingling with uncertainty. Agreed. I fish a pen out of a drawer and sign the bottom line. My signature looks angry, the ink pressing deep into the page. Cassandra exhales like she's been holding her breath for hours. Then she folds the papers and places them back in the folder. I'll head to the store, she says softly, standing. Need anything? I shake my head. I'm good. When she leaves, I remain at the kitchen table staring at the empty coffee mug. A flurry of thoughts storm my brain. This is Brielle's doing. I sense her meddling fingerprints all over it. But I can't deny Cassandra's involvement either. Her signature is on that contract just like mine is now. I won't lose my composure. If Cassandra thinks she can force me to change with threats, she might be in for a rude awakening. I'll pretend to comply, but behind the scenes I'll keep gathering data. If she's truly giving me an ultimatum, I'll be ready with my own counters. Later that day, I drive to Redwood Falls Gym. The treadmill hums beneath my feet as I jog, sweat dripping down my temples. At least I can turn my anger into momentum. Mark Rafferty, the manager, gives me a thumbs-up from across the room. His expression says he's proud I'm back. He has no idea about the humiliating contract fueling my sudden dedication. Back home, Cassandra eyes me curiously. Jim? She asks, forcing casualness. Yeah, starting my new routine. I toss my duffel on a chair. You look surprised. She hesitates. I'm glad. Don't be mad at me, please. I wave off her concern with an easy shrug. I said I'd do it, right? Inside, though, I'm seething. She has no idea the lengths I'm willing to go. The final straw is seeing a text from Brielle pop up on Cassandra's phone screen while it's on the counter. How'd he take it? Bet he's fuming. Cassandra quickly swipes it away, unaware I caught a glimpse. Fuming? Yeah, maybe, but I've also never been more focused. That night, we share a quiet dinner, grilled chicken and vegetables, presumably to help me stay on track. Cassandra attempts small talk about the design leads she's pursuing, but I give monosyllabic answers. The ache in my gut over the contract still lingers, yet outwardly, I maintain a mask of calm compliance. Just before bed, Cassandra places the contract folder in our desk drawer as if it's some sacred document. She doesn't invite me to join her under the sheets. She just says goodnight and flips off the light. I lay awake, staring at the ceiling. If she thinks withholding intimacy will break me, she underestimates what I endured in the Army. Patience and resolve are my forte. Let the games begin. A few days later, I notice a shift in Cassandra's routine. She's dressed more fashionably, hairstyled meticulously, even on weekdays. Brielle's visits become frequent, always unannounced. Sometimes they go out for coffee or lunch. Sometimes they stay here, whispering behind closed doors. I pretend not to notice, but I'm documenting everything in my mind and on my cameras. One morning, while Cassandra is showering, Brielle knocks on our door. Good timing, I say, forcing a neutral smile. She'll be out in a minute. Brielle steps in, eyeing me up and down. You look better, she remarks, flicking a glance at my gym clothes. Guess that contract worked. I stiffen. It's only been a few days, Brielle, she smirks. True, but at least you're finally making an effort. I clench my jaw, remembering I shouldn't give her the satisfaction of a reaction. Cassandra emerges wearing a robe, hair damp. Brielle, you made it. Ready to hit the new wine bar? I shoot Cassandra a surprised look. Wine bar? At noon? She shrugs, a faint flush coloring her cheeks. We're just checking it out. They serve small plates, too. Uh-huh, I say, letting the sarcasm slip. Brielle arches an eyebrow, clearly unimpressed with my tone. Within minutes, they leave, giggling about Girls' Day. I quietly retrieve my keys, double-check that Cassandra's phone still has the GPS app I installed, and wait a few minutes before heading out. I don't intend to follow them everywhere, but something feels off. Lately, Cassandra's been staying out later than usual, coming home with hushed updates about new acquaintances they meet. A couple hours pass before I decide to check the phone tracker. Sure enough, Cassandra's car is parked at a place downtown, a newly opened spot called Vine and Dine. I swing by for a quick peek, staying in my vehicle across the street. Through the big windows, I spot them perched at the bar, talking to a tall stranger, smooth hair, bright smile. Must be Damien Frost, the name I heard Brielle mention once in passing. Damien radiates confidence as he leans in to say something. Cassandra laughs, placing a hand lightly on his arm. My chest knots with a flash of jealousy and a jolt of anger. This is a little too cozy, but I hold back. I don't want a public confrontation. Instead, I snap a few phone pics from my seat, then drive off. I can gather more intel later. When Cassandra returns home alone that evening, her cheeks are pink, maybe from wine or from the thrill of attention. I try not to look upset, but she senses my tension. "You okay?" she asks, placing her purse on the table. I shrug. "Fine. You?" She hesitates. "It was just drinks, and a light lunch. Brielle invited a few people, that's all." I nod, biting back a comment about Damien. Instead, I ask, "Going to the gym tomorrow?" Her eyes flick away. "I was thinking about it. Actually, there's a new yoga class starting soon. Maybe I'll join that." In the next days, Brielle's influence grows more blatant. She calls or texts Cassandra constantly, urging more nights out. Cassandra claims it's just harmless socializing, but I watch her spend extra time in front of the mirror, choosing outfits that show off her figure. She's also begun skipping dinners at home, leaving me alone with a half-empty fridge and plenty of time to stew. One late afternoon, after another suspicious outing, Cassandra returns to find me in the living room, reviewing a local real estate listing on my laptop. She arches a brow. "Thinking of buying property?" I keep my tone casual. "Just exploring. We're still staying at the rental while my parents' house is being renovated. Maybe it'd be smart to invest." She nods distractedly, then quietly mentions, "Damien was there again today, with some other friends. He's interesting." My jaw tenses. "Interesting how?" She shrugs. "Good conversation, that's all. He used to work in marketing, apparently. Has connections in the city." "And you're drawn to that?" I ask, failing to mask the edge in my voice. Her eyes flash defensively. "It's not like that, Lucas. I'm just explaining. I wouldn't have you feeling threatened if you'd just trust me." Trust. The word hangs heavy in the air. It's laughable, given the contract and her new circle, but I manage a faint smile. "All right, I trust you." Yet even as I say the words, I recall the small GPS tracker app, the cameras, the digital logs I've been compiling. My trust is on life support. That night, dinner is silent. She picks at a salad. I choke down plain chicken. We're both thinking about the same problem, that our once comfortable relationship has become a series of power plays. She's forcing me to lose weight, while I secretly watch her every move, suspicious of deeper betrayal. Near midnight, I find her in the kitchen, staring out the window into the darkness. She's fiddling with her wedding band. For a second, my heart cracks at the sight. "Cassandra," I say softly. "You okay?" She startles, then nods. "Yeah, just can't sleep. Too much on my mind." I consider reaching out to hold her, but the memory of that contract stings. Instead, I muster, "We'll get through this, right?" She doesn't answer, just exhales and heads back to the bedroom. Brielle's influence looms in the background, fueling new tensions. And I know, from the glimpses of Damien Frost, that more troubles lie ahead. A week passes under a strained routine. Every day, Cassandra attends yoga or heads out with Brielle. Most nights, she sleeps early, leaving me to brood alone. My cameras pick up nothing overtly incriminating, but there's enough phone chatter and whispered remarks to keep me on edge. I decide it's time to make a move. I contact Grant Navarro, an old friend who runs a small consulting firm downtown, and we meet at a local cafe. Over steaming mugs of coffee, I lay out my concerns, carefully omitting the most private details. Grant listens, elbows on the table, brow furrowed. "So, you're worried Cassandra might be led astray by Brielle?" I stare out the window. "Yes, and I want to ensure I'm not blindsided. Financially, legally, I need to protect myself." Grant nods. "Understood. Let me do some discreet checks. If Brielle is searching for local employment, I might be able to sway potential employers away from her. Keep her in a difficult spot." My lips quirk in a humorless smile. That'd be a start. That same afternoon, I speak to Colton Pierce, my army buddy, about interfering with certain men who cozy up to Cassandra. He's not enthusiastic about intimidation tactics, but I explain it's only a quiet warning if they cross boundaries. Colton sighs, eventually agreeing to help keep them at arm's length. My plan goes into motion quicker than I expect. Within days, I learned from Grant that Brielle's job application at Summit Innovations was abruptly lost in the system. Another potential employer mysteriously withdrew their posting right after receiving her resume. Meanwhile, Colton passes on word that a couple of men who got overly familiar with Cassandra at a local bar have received gentle but clear messages to steer clear. The first sign of success is an unexpected phone call. I'm in the living room when Cassandra answers her cell. "What do you mean, the position's been filled?" she asks, voice sharp. She shoots me an accusing glance but doesn't elaborate. "But you told me hello? Hello?" She hangs up, frustration evident. "Brielle's job prospect just vanished without explanation," she says. "She's freaking out." I feign sympathy. "That's tough. Job markets can be unpredictable." Cassandra's eyes narrow like she suspects me, yet she has no proof. "Yeah, unpredictable," she mutters. A few nights later, Cassandra heads to a bar with Brielle yet again, and men start drifting away as soon as they realize who Cassandra is married to. It's subtle. A turned shoulder, a polite excuse, or a friend ushering them to the other side of the room. By midnight, Cassandra returns home with a puzzled frown. She rounds on me almost immediately. "Lucas, what are you doing?" I raise my eyebrows. "Sorry?" She tosses her purse onto a chair. "Every time I go out, men who danced or flirted with me vanish from the place. Brielle noticed it first. She thinks you're behind it. Are you?" My heart pounds, but I keep my expression neutral. "Why would I care who you dance with?" She steps closer, voice trembling with quiet anger. "I don't know. Maybe because you're paranoid. Or you can't stand that I'm out of your reach right now." I cross my arms, letting a touch of defiance slip into my voice. "I'm not the one who wrote up a contract banning intimacy, Cassandra. If you think men are avoiding you because of me, maybe they just respect boundaries." She scoffs, spinning away. "Brielle insists it's your doing. She's furious about her job issues too, and the timing is too convenient to be a coincidence." I shrug, not budging. "Look, if Brielle is losing opportunities, that's on her. No idea why men wouldn't want to entangle themselves with a married woman. Maybe they're just decent guys." She takes a shaky breath. I see hurt flicker across her eyes, but also doubt. "Lucas, this is getting weird. People are whispering. I heard rumors that you have connections all over Redwood Falls, like you're pulling strings behind the scenes." My pulse spikes at the mention of rumors. I work hard to keep that aspect of my life hidden. Rumors are just that. If you believe them, that's your choice. For a moment, neither of us speaks. The hush that falls over our living room is thick with secrets. Finally, Cassandra rubs her temples and storms off to the bedroom. I hear the door shut, not a slam but a decisive click, signaling she doesn't want to talk further tonight. I drop onto the couch, adrenaline coursing through me. My plan is working. Brielle is stuck, and the men foolish enough to toy with Cassandra have been gently deterred. But I feel a pang of unease. Cassandra might not be guilty of full-blown betrayal yet, but I'm dragging her through chaos, hurting her social circle, leaving her more isolated. Still, each time I recall that humiliating contract, my anger reignites. If she wants to push me into corners, I'll make sure no one else can easily step in. A text from Colton arrives. "We took care of the new guy, Leo Morgan. He won't be approaching Cassandra again." I exhale, wondering if I've gone too far or not far enough. This is only the beginning, I remind myself grimly. It's midweek when I notice Cassandra pacing the living room, phone clutched in her hand. She's wearing a simple blouse and jeans, but her agitation is clear eyes flashing, footsteps restless. I pause at the entry, silent. "They fired him out of nowhere?" She hisses into the phone. "No, I get it, just suspicious timing. I'm sorry, Brielle." A pause. "We'll figure something out, I promise." My heart thumps. Fired who? Possibly one of Brielle's acquaintances, or a man who danced with Cassandra. Another casualty of my quiet sabotage. Cassandra ends the call and spots me. Her gaze is fierce. "Don't just stand there. What did you do now? I feign innocence. I'm not sure what you're talking about. She exhales shakily. Brielle says a friend of hers, Gareth, the one who gave her a lead at the phone company, lost his job. She's convinced you're behind it. Gareth who? I ask calmly. I've never heard of him. Cassandra's frustration is palpable. Lucas, don't lie to me. I've heard the rumors. People say you have ties to local businesses, that you can pull strings and get rid of anyone who crosses you. Remember how you were in the military? She thinks you still have that influence. My chest tightens. Influence is a strong word. I have connections, sure, but I'm not a puppet master. She stares, her voice trembling. Then explain why so many people near me are suffering random misfortunes right after they get close to me or Brielle. I hold her gaze. I'm not forcing them to talk to you. If local folks think dancing with a married woman is a bad idea, that's their call. As for Brielle's leads falling through, maybe she's just not qualified. Ever think of that? Her eyes glisten, and she whirls away, fists clenched. You sound so cruel. And do you even realize how humiliating this is for me? Everywhere I go, I can't shake the feeling that you've set a trap. A pang of guilt flickers inside me, but I bury it. You brought this on by threatening me with that contract, Cassandra. Actions have consequences. Her shoulders slump. She doesn't yell, just stands there, breathing hard. Finally, she mutters, I'm going for a drive. I need air. She snatches her keys and storms out. I watch from the window as she peels away, dust kicking up in the driveway. Hours later, darkness settles over Redwood Falls. I keep expecting Cassandra to return, but she's gone long enough that I flick on the outside porch light. Tension coils in my stomach. Did she go to Brielle's place or meet Damien? The idea churns my gut, though I remind myself I can track her phone if needed. Before I act, headlights sweep across the front window. She's back. Stepping onto the porch, I watch her climb out of the car, arms wrapped around her torso against the chill. Her expression is haunted, like she's seen something disturbing. Cassandra? I say softly. You okay? She brushes past me, hurrying inside. In the living room, she whirls around, hugging herself. Lucas, there's talk in town. People are afraid. They're saying men who get too close to me end up losing their jobs or worse. And she takes a shaky breath. I confronted a guy named Evan outside the gas station. He used to flirt with me sometimes at the bar. He acted like he'd seen a ghost when I approached him. He said he can't afford to upset you. I step forward, heart pounding. So you believe him? Her eyes brim with tears. I don't know what to believe, but I'm terrified. Suddenly, Redwood Falls feels like a prison. Everyone's whispering about you, how you have secret ties to local businesses, how you can snap your fingers and ruin someone's life. I'm silent for a moment, struggling with my own conflict. Part of me hates seeing her so frightened. Another part recalls the sting of that ultimatum, the presence of Damien Frost, the endless meddling by Brielle. This is the cost, perhaps. She sits down heavily on the couch. Lucas, we can't live like this. I can't live like this, constantly scared of what you might do. I lower myself into a chair across from her, hands clasped. You're only scared because you believed Brielle's hype. I never threatened you. I never threatened to ruin your life. I'm simply protecting myself from being humiliated. Her face pales. Protecting yourself from me? A silent beat passes. The overhead lamp buzzes faintly. Finally, I say, from anyone who tries to undermine our marriage. She exhales, tears threatening to spill. Do you even love me anymore? Or am I just a threat to neutralize? My chest tightens painfully. That's not how I see you. But I won't stand by while you or anyone else manipulates me with a contract or parades around with other men. She flinches at the word parade, then bows her head. We sit in uncomfortable silence until she finally rises. I don't recognize you, Lucas. I watch her retreat to the bedroom, each footstep weighed down by 1,000 unspoken words. Unsettling is an understatement for what's unfolding. Cassandra has glimpsed the edges of my influence, and it terrifies her. Meanwhile, I'm drowning in bitterness, even as I still feel that old surge of protectiveness for her. Later, I slip outside for air, the night sky moonless overhead. Redwood Falls is quiet, no traffic. just the faint hum of distant crickets. This used to be the place I dreamed of returning to. Peaceful, friendly, safe. Now it's a battleground of secrets, contracts, and simmering vengeance. As I lean against the porch railing, I recall an earlier conversation with Colton. He warned me that once you start punishing people, there's no easy way back. I realize how far I've come down this road and how much farther I might go if Cassandra pushes me, or if Damien Frost does. The porch light flickers. In the distance, a car engine groans. I watch it pass, some late-night traveler oblivious to the drama unfolding behind our closed doors. Then I head inside, locking up for the night. The living room is dark, and a narrow sliver of light glows under the bedroom door, where Cassandra presumably lies, confused and hurt. With a slow breath, I steel myself. This entire situation is unsettling indeed, but it's not over. Not by a long shot. My wife's ultimatum ignited the first betrayals. Now she's begun to sense my power, and I can see the fear in her eyes. Yet the real storm is still gathering on the horizon, waiting to break. I'm starting to see Damien Frost's name everywhere, on Cassandra's phone screen, in casual mentions during breakfast, and from the whispers I overhear when I step into local shops. He appeared in our lives abruptly a couple of weeks ago, introduced by Betrayal, and now it seems he's an integral part of Cassandra's day-to-day. She claims they're just friends, but her eyes flick away whenever she says it. I've done some digging. Damien used to live in a larger city up north, dabbling in marketing and event planning. From what I gather, he's charismatic and well-connected, just the kind of person to thrive on others' admiration. Cassandra's fascination with him has grown obvious, like a flame she tries to hide but can't fully extinguish. Late one morning, while Cassandra is out, I receive a text from Colton Pierce, my Army friend who's been helping me monitor any suspicious activity. "They're meeting at Painted Acres Cafe," he writes. "Damien arrived first. Cassandra just parked." I tense. Painted Acres is a small, rustic cafe on the outskirts of Redwood Falls, a spot couples go for quiet brunches or discreet chats. Curious, I open my laptop, accessing the feed from an app Colton rigged with the cafe's outside security camera. Sure enough, I spot Cassandra entering, scanning the room. Damien stands to greet her, leaning in for a short hug. My jaw tightens. I wrestle with the urge to rush over there. Instead, I remind myself to keep collecting evidence systematically. My earlier confrontations taught me that being too direct only tips my hand. So I take a shaky breath, finish my coffee, and pass the time by double-checking the hidden camera placements in our home. Everything is still running smoothly. An hour later, Cassandra returns. She's carrying a small Togo cup and offers me a polite smile. "I, bumped into Damien," she says casually. "We talked about local business opportunities. He's looking to organize a networking event." "Sounds exciting," I reply, forcing neutrality. "Just you two?" She clears her throat. "Brielle was supposed to join but got caught up, so we just talked for a bit." There's an uneasiness in her posture, as though she's bracing for me to pounce with accusations. I don't. I merely nod, letting silence fill the room. Eventually, she sets her cup on the counter and leaves, shoulders tight. That evening I call Grant Navarro, the legal consultant who's discreetly assisting me. "Damien Frost," I say into the phone. "Find out everything you can about him." Grant sounds surprised. "I thought Brielle was the main issue." "She still is, but I suspect Damien might be a bigger problem soon." Grant promises to investigate. After hanging up, I skim through the photos my team, essentially Colton and a few others I trust, have taken of Cassandra and Damien around town. They're not overtly intimate. Perhaps a hand on her shoulder here, a shared laugh there. But the tension in their expressions is telling, like they share secrets neither wants to reveal. A few days later, I get a text from Grant. "Damien has moderate debt, nothing extreme, potentially looking for investors. Could be using local contacts to find money. We'll dig more." Investors? My mind spins with possibilities. If Damien is financially desperate, Cassandra might be a prime target for emotional manipulation, especially if he guesses she's married to a man with resources. I feel my protective instinct flare. If he's latching onto her vulnerabilities, I'll make sure it backfires on him. Sure enough, that weekend, Cassandra mentions Damien's event pitch. We're in the living room, the sun setting outside. She's flipping through a notebook, her design sketches scribbled in the margins. Damien wants to host a networking night, she explains, voice uncertain. He asked if I'd do some design work flyers, social media posts. I could earn a small fee. I keep my tone even. And what's the catch? She frowns. No catch. I need more clients, and he offered. Are you objecting? My eyes lock on hers. No. If it's strictly professional, that's your choice. She exhales, shoulders loosening. Thank you. I'm trying to keep work separate from everything else. Her unspoken message, from our marriage drama, from Brielle's meddling, from your hidden influence. Inwardly, I note how determined she sounds, like she's trying to prove something maybe to me, maybe to herself. The fact remains, the closeness with Damien is growing, and I suspect soon it'll go beyond design contracts. That suspicion becomes reality one afternoon when Colton texts me, "They're at Lakeshore Park, behind the old boathouse." I freeze. Lakeshore Park is a known spot for quiet rendezvous. Rushing to my car, I drive there, adrenaline pounding. Through a copse of trees, I see them near the water's edge. Cassandra in a simple sundress, Damien in jeans and a casual shirt. They aren't touching intimately, but they talk with heads bent close, the hush of their conversation broken only by an occasional breeze. I snap a few photos from a distance, heart hammering. Suddenly, Damien places a hand on Cassandra's arm. She steps back, a faint blush coloring her cheeks. He looks momentarily frustrated, like he tried to move too quickly. Cassandra shakes her head, seeming to rebuff him. Then, gathering her purse, she walks off toward the parking lot, leaving him standing by the lake, hands in his pockets. It's a close call, all right, an encounter that nearly crosses a line. My stomach churns with both relief and anger. Relief that she didn't give in, anger that it's come to this at all. Cassandra drives off before I can confront her. Damien lingers, watching her car disappear. I consider stepping out, delivering a warning, but decide to remain hidden. For now, gathering solid evidence is more important than cheap threats. I'm sure next time, Damien might push harder. The next morning, I stand in the dimly lit back room of Colton Pierce's workshop. Metal shelves line the walls, piled with tools and leftover gear from our Army days. A single, flickering fluorescent light casts odd shadows across the floor. Colton and Grant Navarro sit on makeshift stools, waiting as I pace. We need a more comprehensive approach, I say, voice echoing off cinderblock walls. Damien Frost is getting bolder with Cassandra. Brielle's meddling hasn't stopped. If I don't move decisively, I risk losing control. Grant nods, tablet in hand. I've been gathering intel on Damien's finances. He's not bankrupt, but he's definitely strapped for cash. Hoping Cassandra's design work, or maybe her connections, can help him. Possibly an angle to exploit if we want him to back off. Colton folds his arms. So do we threaten him financially, or do we go the intimidation route? I let out a slow breath. I want to keep it quiet. Damien's big event is happening soon, right? That networking night. If we sabotage it or discredit him, he'll have no reason to hang around Redwood Falls. Meanwhile, I'll keep a closer eye on Cassandra's involvement. Grant flips to a new screen. We can ensure potential sponsors withdraw support. I've spoken to a few local business owners who trust me. If I suggest Damien has a shady history, they'll back off. I nod. Perfect. And Colton, have your guys spread the word that Damien's a risk. If he's painted as unreliable, he'll struggle to get traction for any project. That should force him to reconsider flirting with a married woman, especially one whose husband, rumor says, wields influence around town. They agree to the plan. For a moment, a pang of guilt tugs at me. Cassandra once told me she hated the notion that Redwood Falls felt like a prison, with me pulling invisible strings, but that contract and her closeness to Damien have forced my hand. At least that's what I keep telling myself. Grant hesitates. And if Cassandra stands up for Damien when he fails, you'd risk driving her closer to him if he plays the victim card. I clench my jaw. Then I'll cross that bridge when I get to it. But if I do nothing, he'll keep inching closer. I won't lose her to some slick talker. Not like this. Over the next few days, I watch the sabotage unfold. Through phone calls and hush-hush meetings, Grant and Colton quietly persuade local sponsors to withdraw from Damien's event. Advertisers balk at signing a deal. A rumor surfaces that Damien's previous city might have forced him out for shady dealings entirely unverified, but enough to stir doubt. Meanwhile, at home, Cassandra alternates between stony silence and forced politeness. At times, I almost miss our old arguments because at least then we had open dialogue. Now it's like she's building a wall of secrecy between us, fearful of my next move. One evening, as I lounge in the living room, Cassandra approaches with cautious steps. "Damien's event lost a few sponsors," she says, voice tight. "He's upset, says someone's spreading lies about him. Any idea who?" I feign ignorance. "No. Maybe they found something in his background. This town is small, word spreads fast if a newcomer has red flags." She exhales sharply. "He's not a criminal. He just had some issues before. Everyone has baggage." I say nothing, flipping through a TV channel. After a moment, she continues. "It's too convenient, Lucas, and I know how you operate. All these businesses mysteriously pulling out? That's your style." I set the remote aside. "You've accused me of many things lately. If your friend has trouble, it's not necessarily my fault." She studies me, frustration clouding her eyes. "He's not just a friend. He's an important client for my design work, or was." At the slip of her tongue, my chest tightens. She's right about one thing. He was a client, but soon he may not be. I wonder if that means Cassandra will resent me more. Still, I hold my stoic front. "Sorry about your project," I say mildly, then stand and head to the kitchen. In truth, I'm not sorry at all. The more isolated Damien becomes, the better for me. If this continues, he'll cut his losses and leave Redwood Falls. Or so I hope. My next meeting with Grant happens at a corner booth in Kaylee's kitchen, an old-fashioned diner downtown. Over plates of scrambled eggs and bacon, he updates me on the success of our quiet campaign. "Damien's event is nearly dead," he says. "He's running out of local partnerships and can't float the costs alone. I give it a week before he cancels." "Good," I reply, voice low. "Let me know when it's final." Grant hesitates. "Lucas, you're aware that Cassandra might see this as proof you're meddling, right? She's not blind." I bristle. "She forced me into a humiliating weight loss contract, threatened to find her own fun if I didn't comply. Now she's playing victim? I don't think so." Grant sighs. "Just be careful. Sometimes the bigger the revenge, the bigger the fallout at home." I toss enough bills on the table to cover our meal and stand. "I can handle the fallout. Thanks for your help." As I leave, a swirl of emotions churn inside me: frustration, a lingering sense of betrayal, and a sliver of doubt about how far I'm willing to go. The plan is in motion, though. Damien Frost's public persona will soon crumble. And if Cassandra tries to shield him, I'll respond. I refuse to lose ground now. It's nearly dusk when I learn that Betrayal is dragging Cassandra and a small group of acquaintances to an upscale bar called Maple District Lounge. The place is known for handcrafted cocktails and a chic ambiance, exactly the sort of spot Betrayal adores flaunting. Word reaches me through a message from one of Colton's friends, who overheard Betrayal boasting about a big night out, free from Lucas's suffocating presence. I decide to stay home. Confronting them directly at the bar would only give Betrayal ammunition to paint me as a jealous monster. But I do dispatch 2 associates to keep watch and report if Damien shows up. Sure enough, around 9 p.m. my phone vibrates. Damien is here, dancing with Cassandra. My grip tightens around the phone. The music in that lounge is typically subdued jazz, but I can imagine them swaying close, low lights disguising the tension. Another update arrives 30 minutes later. She's letting him hold her waist. Another slow dance. Each text is like a punch to the gut. I picture Cassandra's gaze, the subtle tilt of her head, the flush on her cheeks. Is she crossing lines for real now? My chest roils with anger. I text back, "Keep eyes on them. If he goes too far, intervene discreetly." Eventually, around 10:30, I receive a terse message. "Damien is trying to kiss her on dance floor. She's not resisting much." My vision blurs with a red haze. Not resisting? Did we reach that tipping point? Moments later, the next update. "We intervened, pulled him aside. He took a swing, minor scuffle. He's leaving with a bruised face." A shaky exhale escapes me. Part relief, part rage. I wish I were there, yet I know showing up would only escalate the chaos. Instead, I pace the living room, waiting for Cassandra to return. My phone rings Colton's voice on the other end. "Situation's under control, but it got ugly," he mutters. Damien insisted Cassandra was giving him signals. She froze when he tried to kiss her. We stepped in. He lashed out. We taught him a lesson. Nothing too severe, just enough to warn him off. My heart pounds. And Cassandra? She's with Betrayal, freaked out. People at the bar are gossiping about you being behind this. I clench my jaw. Let them gossip, as long as Damien backs off. Colton sighs. He's furious, swearing revenge. Watch your back. I end the call, adrenaline coursing through me. My mind reels with conflicting emotions, a dark satisfaction that Damien was put in his place, and a gnawing worry about Cassandra's next move. She can't deny my involvement now. We've shown our hand. Close to midnight, Cassandra finally appears, face pale, eyes flickering with anger and fear. She slams the door behind her. The tension crackles in the air. "What in God's name did you do?" she demands, voice trembling. "Damien was assaulted, Lucas. You can't pretend you had nothing to do with it." I fold my arms, schooling my expression. "He tried to kiss a married woman on the dance floor. Are you telling me that's acceptable to you?" She glares. "Don't twist this. Yes, he got too close, but that doesn't justify your goons beating him up." I bristle at the word goons. "I'm not apologizing. If you're letting him hold you, dance intimately with you, then he thinks he has the green light. Someone had to stop him." Her eyes flash with fury. "And that someone had to use violence? This is insane. People at the lounge said you orchestrated it, that Redwood Falls is practically under your thumb. Betrayal was screaming about how you've turned everyone into pawns." I suppress a bitter laugh. Betrayal's accusations mean nothing. She's the one who encouraged you to step out on me, remember? Cassandra's hand clenches into a fist. "I didn't step out on you. I danced. Yes, it might have been borderline, but I wasn't going to kiss him. When he tried, I froze. I was shocked. Then your people showed up out of nowhere. It's horrifying." We stand in silence, hearts pounding. She's trembling, tears pooling in her eyes, but overshadowed by anger. At last, she chokes out, "I can't do this, Lucas. I'm not your enemy, but you're treating me like one." I stare at her, bitterness welling. "The contract you forced on me said no intimacy until I dropped weight. That's not how you treat a husband if you truly love him." She flinches. "Maybe I made a mistake, but this is beyond anything I imagined. You're hurting people, turning Redwood Falls into your personal battleground." Her voice cracks on the last word, and I see real fear flicker across her face. Part of me wants to comfort her, but I can't ignore the fact that she danced willingly with Damien, letting him wrap his arms around her. That betrayal, no matter how small, stings like acid. After a long silence, she drops her gaze. "I'm sleeping in the guest room tonight," she mutters, then disappears down the hall. My chest aches, but I don't stop her. Damien's warning might keep him away for now, but the damage is done. The rumor mill in Redwood Falls will spin, and Cassandra's trust in me, whatever was left, has fractured further. We're teetering on the edge, and I'm not sure either of us knows how to pull back. A few days after the bar incident, Cassandra grows strangely quiet. We maneuver around each other in the house like strangers, careful not to spark another argument. I stick to my workout routine, pushing myself on the treadmill every morning, while she buries herself in freelance design projects. Late at night, she locks the guest room door, shutting me out both physically and emotionally. Then one afternoon, Colton calls. "We've got something," he says, voice tense. Damien and Cassandra, together at his apartment complex. She parked in the back lot. Looks deliberate, like she didn't want to be seen. A chill sweeps down my spine. "When did she leave the house?" "Half an hour ago. I had someone tail her." I glance at the clock. She claimed she was running errands, but she never mentioned Damien's name. My jaw sets. "Send me the address." The apartment complex is a 15-minute drive. I head out, controlling my breathing, reminding myself not to burst in recklessly. On the way, I get a text from Colton. "Unit 205, she's inside." When I arrive, I park a few buildings away. My heart thuds as I climb the external stairwell to the second floor. The corridor is deserted. Quietly, I approach the door labeled 205, pressing an ear close. I hear muffled voices, uncertain in tone. A pang of dread and anger coils in my gut. I could knock, or I could gather more definitive proof, like a photo or recording. Spotting a window around the side of the building, I carefully move along the narrow walkway. peering inside through a gap in the blinds. Damien's living room is small, with minimal furniture. And there, in partial view, stands Cassandra facing Damien. His hand rests on her upper arm. From my angle, I can't see her expression clearly, but I sense her tension. She looks conflicted. He leans closer, speaking in a low tone I can't make out. Then, in a swift motion, Damien places both hands on her waist, pulling her near. Cassandra's mouth opens, maybe to protest, maybe to speak. My heart lurches. She doesn't immediately shove him away. Trembling, I snap a few photos on my phone. My mind screams to barge in, but I hold myself back another moment. If she reciprocates, if they kiss, that's the moment I need to confirm near adultery. But do I truly want that? The question flickers through my mind, a sickening mixture of anger and heartbreak. Damien leans in, aiming to capture her lips. Cassandra presses her palms against his chest, seemingly resisting. I can't hear what they're saying, but she shakes her head, stepping out of his grip. He grabs her wrist, urging her not to go. My pulse pounds. I see desperation in Damien's face. Suddenly, Cassandra yanks her arm free, voice rising enough that I catch fragments. Can't do this married. She darts toward the door. Damien follows, pleading. Just as she unlocks it, I retreat, ducking behind the corner. The door flings open and she rushes out, tears glinting in her eyes. Damien stands on the threshold, calling her name. Cassandra, he shouts. You know you want more than this. Let me help you. She doesn't reply, nearly stumbling down the stairs. Damien, frustration twisting his features, slams the door. I catch my breath, adrenaline roaring in my ears. Cassandra stumbles around the corner, nearly colliding with me. Her eyes widen in shock. Lucas? I straighten, phone clutched in my hand. Explain, I manage, voice shaking with anger and betrayal. She looks cornered, chest heaving. He asked me here to talk. I swear I wasn't going to cheat. I told him no. I glare at her, though part of me saw she did resist. You came here in secret. Why hide it if you weren't planning something? Tears spill onto her cheeks. Because I knew how it would look, and I was confused. Everything is chaos between us. Damien offered a shoulder to lean on, but I realized... She cuts herself off, swallowing a sob. I realized I couldn't do it, Lucas. I backed away. You have to believe me. I don't respond. Instead, I grab her arm, not rough but firm, and guide her away from the building. She follows, trembling. Downstairs, I let go, drawing a shaky breath. My mind whirls. I have photos, enough to suggest near intimacy. That's all I need to destroy her in court if I choose. But seeing her tears and terrified expression stirs something inside me, an odd mixture of pity and residual love. We get into my car, the silence suffocating. I start the engine and drive, ignoring the questions flooding my brain. Cassandra huddles in the passenger seat, wiping at her cheeks, as if expecting me to erupt at any moment. Eventually, I break the tension with a cold, measured voice. You're not sleeping in the guest room tonight. You'll sleep in the master, so we can talk. Understood? She nods, eyes hollow. Yes. Back at the house, I lead her inside. The living room is dim. We left no lights on. Cassandra flicks a switch, brightening the space. She turns to face me, her face streaked with tears. Lucas, I know you're furious, but I swear I didn't betray you. He tried and I refused. My blood still runs hot. Did you think about accepting? I ask, my tone lethal in its softness. She chokes on a sob. For a split second, maybe, but then I remembered we're still married. Despite everything, I don't want to cross that line. I stare at her, warring with my instincts. The photo evidence is on my phone. I could wave it in her face, threaten legal action, or shame her. Instead, I pocket the phone. I believe you resisted, but you went there of your own free will, Cassandra. Don't pretend you're innocent. She exhales shakily. I know, I'm sorry. A heavy silence settles. Finally, I jerk my head toward the hallway. Go to the bedroom. We'll talk after I've calmed down. She obeys, stepping away with a trembling gait. I linger in the living room, fury pounding behind my eyes. The betrayal is near enough that I can taste it, yet she didn't cross the final threshold. I'm torn between an overwhelming urge to forgive or to unleash the full force of my planned revenge. With a hard swallow, I realize there's no simple resolution tonight. I have the evidence. I need photos proving she nearly strayed. The next move, though, is mine alone. And as I stand there, heart in turmoil, One truth becomes obvious. The woman I once trusted now sits at my mercy, and the path ahead, legal confrontation or full-blown retribution, feels inevitable. The morning after I catch Cassandra nearly crossing the final line with Damien, I head out before dawn. My breath fogs in the crisp air as I slip behind the wheel of my car. A strange calm has settled over me, as though I've already decided my next steps and nothing can sway me now. I tell myself it's not anger guiding me, rather, it's self-preservation. I drive to meet my attorney, Evelyn Brooks, at her small corner office near Redwood Falls, modest downtown. She's a formidable woman in her early 50s, silver hair pinned neatly. If I didn't know her personally, I might find her intimidating. But we've worked together for months behind the scenes, preparing for what might happen if Cassandra truly went too far. Evelyn greets me with a curt nod. "Morning, Lucas. I see the determination on your face. Ready to proceed?" I lower into a squeaky leather chair. "Yes, file the papers. Cite irreconcilable differences." She slides a folder across the desk, invites me to review the final draft. My chest tightens. The language is clinical, referencing property rights, a potential separation of assets. On a separate page, my evidence is cataloged, a bullet-point summary of Cassandra's near adultery, plus background details about her encouragement by Betrayal. If it comes to a court battle, it'll be there for the judge to see. Evelyn sets her glasses aside. "If you move forward with this, Cassandra will be served promptly. She'll be blindsided." I swallow hard. I know. After signing, I gather my coat. Evelyn promises to handle the service discreetly by courier. My stomach churns at the thought of Cassandra's face when she sees the envelope. But part of me steels itself. She made her choice. Now I'm making mine. Back home, I find the house quiet. The curtains are drawn, the lights off. I half expect Cassandra to be waiting in the living room, but she's nowhere in sight. Instead, I discover a short note on the kitchen counter. "Needed air. Visiting my sister in Brookfield for a couple days. Don't worry about me." Her handwriting is shaky, the edges of the paper creased as if she balled it up before smoothing it out. I set the note down, a mixture of relief and frustration coursing through me. If she's gone, at least she won't be there when the courier arrives. She'll likely see the summons upon her return. I fix a simple lunch, though my appetite is non-existent. Then I retreat to my den where the heart of my surveillance system used to reside and stare at the blank screens. I recall the humiliating contract, the men who danced too closely with Cassandra, Brielle's manipulations, and finally Damien's near success. A swirl of resentments merges with the pang of regret. Am I truly past the point of forgiveness? That evening, I receive a brief text from Grant Navarro, the legal consultant who's been quietly assisting me. Process server confirmed. Cassandra will have docs upon returning home or at sister's if we get an address. I type back, "She'll come back soon. Do it here." The next day, near dusk, I hear a car door slam outside. My pulse quickens. Peeking through the window, I see Cassandra stepping onto the porch, an overnight bag in hand, her posture rigid with worry. A black sedan idles nearby, the driver likely a courier exiting with a manila envelope. My heart pounds as I watch from behind the curtain. He intercepts her at the door. I can't hear the exchange, but I see Cassandra's eyes widen. She fumbles the envelope, nearly dropping it onto the welcome mat. After a moment, the courier nods politely and leaves. She stands there, envelope in hand, looking stunned. Eventually, she pushes through the front door. Our gazes lock across the living room. She sets the envelope on a table with shaking hands. "Is this real?" she asks, voice small. I nod, unable to form a gentler response. "I'm sorry, Cassandra, but yes, it's real." She flips open the tab, scanning the top pages. When her eyes meet mine again, they glisten with tears. "You filed for divorce?" Her voice cracks. "Just like that?" "Not just like that." My jaw tightens. "We both know how far this marriage has fallen. The ultimatum you forced on me, the near affair with Damien, we've been heading here for a while." Her breath hitches. "But I left to clear my head, not to abandon us." She touches the envelope, expression stricken. "Did you even consider talking to me first?" A bitter laugh escapes me. "Talk? Like you talked before giving me that contract? Or before meeting Damien behind my back?" She flinches, tears spilling over. For a beat, I almost reach out. Old habits of comfort die hard, but I force myself still. She sinks into a nearby chair, scanning the documents again with trembling fingers. "This is humiliating," she whispers. "God, Brielle was right, you do pull all the strings." I can't hold back a wave of frustration. "Brielle's stirring has cost you plenty. She's the one who kept pushing you to find excitement elsewhere. You listened." Cassandra rubs her temples. "But I never wanted this. I never wanted to lose you." Her voice sounds desperate, heartbreak shining through. My chest constricts, but I remind myself of the betrayal, the nights she left me alone while she danced with another man. "If you didn't want to lose me, you should have thought about that before everything spiraled out of control." She trembles, wiping her cheeks. Then something in her expression hardens. "Fine. If you're so determined to leave me, go ahead. But don't expect me to roll over. I'll talk to an attorney." Brielle said. I cut her off, a chill in my tone. "Brielle said what? That you could get a big settlement? Good luck. These papers outline how the assets are structured. You'll see I've covered my bases." Her eyes flick down to the text, comprehension dawning. "You were planning this," she breathes, "all along. Even before I—" She trails off, new tears forming. "Yes," I admit. "I had to protect myself." A thick silence stretches between us. Finally, Cassandra shoves the envelope aside, stands unsteadily, and whispers, "I need space. Don't follow me." She retreats toward the bedroom, shoulders shaking. I stay rooted in place, a hollowness swirling in my gut. The satisfaction I once expected to feel is replaced by a bleak ache. This is what I wanted, I remind myself. This was inevitable. Yet there's no sense of triumph, only the weight of an ending that might never be undone. Outside, the courier's sedan has long gone. The sun sinks below the horizon, casting the house in bruised twilight. I sink onto the couch, staring at the shadows creeping across the walls. Cassandra is devastated, humiliated, and while a part of me relishes the justice, another part feels a sting of guilt. It's too late to turn back, I tell myself. The papers are served. The legal process is in motion. All I can do now is see it through one way or another. Days pass in a tense standstill. Cassandra remains in our home, technically my home, yet we move around like strangers, rarely crossing paths. She sleeps in the bedroom most nights. I crash on the couch or in the old guest room. Each morning I half expect to find her gone, but she hasn't left. It's midweek when I decide to go out for a drive, more out of restlessness than necessity. Redwood Falls is small, but I circle the outskirts, passing the old farmland and the lonely county roads. My mind replays the image of Cassandra's tear-streaked face the day she was served. I try to squash the pity creeping in. She made her bed after all. Upon returning home late that evening, I discover the living room lights blazing. Cassandra stands in the center, fists clenched, shoulders taut. On the table, next to the divorce documents, sits her phone, the screen glowing with an open chat log. My gut tightens. "You were out for hours," she states, voice trembling with pent-up emotion. "Brielle came by. She told me to fight you, that we could bleed you dry in court." But she takes a shaky breath. I'm not sure I trust her anymore. Everything in my life is so twisted. I set my keys on the counter. "At least you're seeing Brielle for who she is," I say dryly. "She never cared about you, only about stirring trouble." Cassandra's cheeks flush. I'm tired of being manipulated, by her, by you, by this entire situation. She flicks a hand toward the divorce papers. "We need to talk, Lucas. We can't keep tiptoeing around." I lean against the wall, arms crossed. "All right, all." Her eyes glisten with unshed tears, but she squares her shoulders. "I never went all the way with Damien. I swear it on my life. Yes, I was tempted, loneliness can do that. But I couldn't betray our vows entirely. Despite the contract fiasco, despite everything, I still love you." Bitterness wraps around my chest. "You have an odd way of showing it. Dancing in bars, secret meetups in apartments." She winces. "I made mistakes, I own that. But the man I married wouldn't punish me like this, turning the whole town against me, pulling strings to ruin any man who got near me." My jaw flexes. "You gave me no choice. You humiliated me with that ultimatum. You threatened to find new men if I didn't lose weight fast enough." Did you think I'd just stand by while you shopped around for a better option? She exhales shakily. I was desperate to jolt you out of your complacency. I never meant to push you into this madness. A throbbing ache builds behind my eyes. I recall the times we were happy early morning coffees, quiet laughter, shared dreams for the future, all that's drowned beneath layers of hurt. Madness is an interesting word, I say quietly, but once I realized how easily you could be swayed by Betrayal, I had to protect myself. Cassandra crosses the room, carefully stepping closer. She lifts her gaze to mine. Is there any chance you'll reconsider the divorce? We could try counseling or just talk without lawyers in the middle. For a moment, uncertainty tugs at me. Then I remember the photographs of her near embrace with Damien, the humiliating contract, the nights she left me alone, and the satisfaction I felt when I secured my assets. I don't know, I admit, voice hushed. I'm too angry, too betrayed. Her eyes dart to the papers. What if I told you there's a reason I took things so far? That I felt neglected, overshadowed by your old army life, your hidden business ties, your lack of emotional support? A bitter laugh slips out. That justifies threatening our marriage with a carrot-and-stick approach. Please. She laces her fingers together, trembling. No, it doesn't. But I'm trying to tell you I'm sorry. For everything. And I'm scared of losing you. For a beat, the house is silent, save for the hum of the fridge. I see genuine desperation in her eyes, and my resolve wavers. The memory of her text messages to Betrayal, the half-lies about Damien come roaring back, though, stiffening my spine. You already lost me, I say, voice low. The minute you let Betrayal manipulate you, or the minute you nearly crossed that line with Damien. Cassandra's tears finally slip free. What if I show you proof that I ended it, that I want no part of him or Betrayal? Would you give us a shot? I hesitate, uncertain. She takes my silence as a cue. Pulling out her phone, she flicks through messages. I see a thread with Damien labeled unsent, blocked. The last message from him is unread. Call me. Let's talk. I can help you get away from him. Cassandra highlights it, shakes her head. I never answered. I blocked him. That's how over it is. My chest constricts. She's telling me she's changed her mind, but is it too late? I glance at the divorce papers. I can't promise anything right now. These papers are real, Cassandra, and part of me thinks it's best we end this before more damage is done. She slumps. Then tell me what you want me to do. Tell me how to fix this. I can't meet her eyes. I don't know, I repeat, voice raw. I need more time. Her shoulders quake with silent sobs. Time. Right. Fine. She sniffs, wiping her cheeks. I'll give you time. But please don't shut me out completely. As she retreats down the hallway, I remain motionless, heart twisting with conflicting emotions, rage, sadness, a strange flicker of yearning. We've exchanged truths tonight, but we're far from resolution. The confrontation leaves me drained, locked in my own bitter resentment, even as I glimpse the possibility of another path forward. But for now, the divorce stands, a sword dangling over us both. The next afternoon, I'm in my den, half-heartedly scrolling through local news articles, when I see an unexpected headline, Scandal at Redwood Securities, Employee Terminated Over Alleged Fraud. My eyebrows rise as I read further. The employee's name isn't stated outright, but a clue pops up. A paralegal with direct ties to multiple confidential client accounts. Curiosity piqued, I call Grant Navarro. He picks up with a sigh. Lucas, I was about to text you. Heard about Redwood Securities? Yeah. Could that be Betrayal? I ask. Grant makes a low noise of confirmation. Looks like it. She took a temp job there after being fired elsewhere, apparently tried to pull some questionable stunts to finance her living expenses. Redwood Securities caught on. Word is she's blacklisted from every major firm in the region now. I lean back in my chair, absorbing the information. Betrayal's once influential presence around Cassandra is unraveling. So she's out of a job again? Worse, she might be facing criminal investigation if Redwood Securities decides to press charges. Grant exhales. I'd say that's the final straw for her in Redwood Falls. A grim satisfaction seeps through me. This is the payoff for all her meddling. Good riddance, I mutter, then pause. What about Cassandra? Has Brielle tried to contact her? Not sure, but I wouldn't be surprised if she tries to drag your wife into the mess. I clench my jaw. Let me know if you hear more. Hanging up, I weigh whether to tell Cassandra. Part of me wants to let her see the news organically. Maybe it'll serve as a final lesson. Another part wonders if Cassandra, feeling guilty, might actually pity Brielle and come to her aid. That's a risk I'm not eager to take. That evening, Cassandra quietly enters the living room, the tension between us still thick from our confrontation. She's scrolling on her phone, eyes flicking in surprise. "Lucas," she says haltingly, "did you see this? Brielle, she got fired again." I set my own phone aside. I heard rumors. Her eyes brim with conflicted emotion. "She's texting me like crazy, accusing you of orchestrating her downfall. She says Redwood Securities are your allies." A cold spark ignites in my chest. "I have no direct ties to Redwood Securities, Cassandra. She dug her own grave." Cassandra sighs, pinching the bridge of her nose. "I don't know if I believe she's completely innocent. Her claims are wild about forging documents. She's frantically asking me for money, or a place to stay." My jaw tightens. "And you're considering it?" Her gaze flicks to mine, uncertain. "Despite everything, she was once a friend. But no, I'm not letting her crash here, Lucas. This house is tense enough." Relief flickers through me, though I keep my expression neutral. Good. Because letting her in would be a bad idea. Cassandra's phone buzzes. She reads the screen and grimaces. She says she's coming by tonight, wants to talk in person. A deep scowl forms on my face. She's not welcome. Sure enough, around 9 p.m., a frantic knocking rattles our front door. Cassandra and I exchange tense looks. I reach the door first, flinging it open to reveal Brielle Kane, hair disheveled, eyes rimmed red. She looks nothing like her usual polished self. "Cassandra!" she cries, spotting my wife behind me. "You have to help me. I lost my job. They're threatening legal action. It's all his fault." She jabs a finger at me. I step forward, blocking her from entering. "You're not setting foot in here, Brielle." Her lips curl in a sneer. "I knew it. You're behind everything. I felt it from day one. You want Cassandra all to yourself, punishing anyone who crosses your path." Cassandra edges closer, arms folded. "Brielle, calm down. What happened with Redwood Securities? Did you forge documents?" Brielle flushes. "They're exaggerating. I just needed some funds. You know how tough it is to survive lately, especially after you made me lose my old job." She stabs another accusatory finger at me, voice pitching higher. "You manipulated everything. Now you want to take Cassandra away from me, from herself?" Cassandra shakes her head. "Brielle, I'm sorry you're in trouble, but I can't fix this for you." A flicker of disbelief crosses Brielle's face. "Wait, you're picking him over me? After all I did to help you see he's controlling and lazy and—" Cassandra's eyes fill with anger. "What you did was push me to the brink of an affair, sabotage my marriage, and feed me lies. None of that was real help. I was blind, but I'm done now." Brielle's mouth opens, then closes. She trembles, apparently at a loss. Outside, a distant thunder rumbles, the sky flickering with lightning. It's as though nature itself is reflecting the storm at our doorstep. She spits out, "You'll regret this," voice hoarse with desperation. "He'll ruin you too, Cassandra. Don't come crying to me when she cuts off," eyes darting from me to Cassandra. I take a step forward, lowering my voice. "That's enough. Leave, or I'll call the cops." Brielle's gaze darts frantically, searching Cassandra for some last shred of compassion, but Cassandra just folds her arms tighter, expression resolute. With a ragged sob, Brielle whirls around and flees into the night, footsteps pounding against the pavement. I close the door, adrenaline buzzing in my veins. Cassandra leans against the wall, exhaling shakily. "God, that was awful." I nod, heart still pounding. "At least now you see what she's truly like." Cassandra runs a hand through her hair, voice trembling. "Yeah, I do. She's lost everything." She swallows, a hint of sadness lacing her tone. "I can't believe it came to this. We used to be so close." A small part of me empathizes with her loss. After all, Brielle was her friend for years, but the shadow of betrayal lingers. That's what happens when you manipulate people, sabotage jobs, and cheat your way forward. She nods, tears glistening but not falling. I suppose you're right. We stand there, the air thick with the remnants of Brielle's outburst. A swirl of relief mingles with the unresolved tension between us. Brielle has fallen, her hold on Cassandra all but shattered. Still, the divorce papers remain on the table, and the chasm in our marriage yawns wide. For tonight, at least, I sense a flicker of solidarity in our mutual rejection of Brielle's chaos. But can it last? Or is it just a temporary respite before our own final reckoning? A week crawls by, each day steeped in an uneasy calm. Cassandra and I speak in low, civil tones, attempting to hold on to the fragile truce sparked by Brielle's downfall. Yet the divorce papers remain on the kitchen table, a stark reminder that we're not fine by any stretch. One late afternoon, I'm hunched over my laptop in the den, reading through my attorney's updates. Evelyn Brooks has drafted an extensive proposal, outlining how a post-nuptial agreement could function if Cassandra and I decide to reconcile. It's essentially a safety net for me to ensure I'm not left vulnerable if she lapses into betrayal again. I hear Cassandra's soft footsteps, and she appears in the doorway, eyes flicking to the screen. "You're reading legal stuff," she states, half question, half observation. I shut the laptop gently. "Yeah, Evelyn proposed something, a postnup. We discussed it months ago, just in case." Cassandra's gaze drops to her hands. "So you're offering me a second chance if I sign away any claim?" I lean back in my chair. "It's not just about money. It's about trust putting a tangible penalty on future betrayal. If we manage to fix this marriage, I need to know I won't be cornered or humiliated again." Her lips part in a shaky sigh. "I see. And what do you propose happens to the divorce papers?" I drum my fingers on the desk. "If you agree to the postnup, I might withdraw them, but it won't be automatic. I want to see that you're truly committed." She closes her eyes, shoulders trembling. "You're effectively asking me to put everything on the line to guarantee that if I slip up again, I lose everything." I stare at her. That's how serious I am about never going through this again. A long pause stretches out. Cassandra's expression carries a mixture of relief and sorrow, as though she's grateful for the glimmer of reconciliation yet mournful of how high the stakes have become. Finally, she whispers, "All right, show me the paperwork." I open the laptop again, pulling up the document. We both hover over the screen, reading clauses about property divisions, spousal support, or lack thereof, if she's found in an indisputable act of disloyalty. The legal language is blunt and unforgiving. Cassandra's hand shakes as she scrolls. "This would leave me with almost nothing if I cheat. I'd basically forfeit any right to assets beyond minimal personal property. No spousal support, no half of the house." My jaw clenches. "You wanted to force me to lose weight or face your consequences. Now I'm laying out consequences for your infidelity. Fair exchange, I'd say." She nods slowly, tears pooling in her eyes but not falling. "I deserve this, I guess, for how far I pushed you, for letting Brielle manipulate me." She straightens, inhaling a shaky breath. "I'll sign, if it means we can at least try to rebuild." A pang resonates in my chest. Even now, seeing her so broken, my anger lingers, but pity and residual affection flicker too. "We can start small," I say quietly. "Cancel the divorce filing, go to counseling if needed. But this postnup is non-negotiable." Cassandra rubs her arms as though cold. "All right, then I agree. I'll sign, Lucas, whatever it takes. I don't want to lose you forever." The following afternoon, we meet with Evelyn Brooks in her cramped office. Cassandra sits across from me, posture stiff yet determined. Evelyn explains each clause. What triggers forfeiture? What remains Cassandra's if we peacefully remain married or part ways amicably? Cassandra nods at every point, voice subdued as she asks clarifying questions. I sense her tension growing with each new line, but she never protests. Finally, Evelyn prints out the final copy. With a solemn expression, Cassandra signs on the dotted line. Then I add my signature. A hush falls over the room. Evelyn slides the document into a folder. "I'll file this with the appropriate channels. Lucas, regarding your divorce petition..." She glances at me expectantly. Cassandra holds her breath, eyes locked on me. My chest feels tight, but I speak calmly. Withdraw it for now. Let's see if we can salvage this. Evelyn jots a note, then stands. All right. Best of luck to you both. If anything changes, you know where to reach me. We step outside into the bright afternoon sun. Cassandra shields her eyes, shoulders sagging as though the weight of that meeting left her drained. I swallow hard, unsure what to say. We've just taken a massive step, yet so much remains uncertain. Thank you, Cassandra whispers at last, for giving us another chance. I exhale slowly. Don't make me regret it. My voice sounds harsher than intended, but she only nods, understanding etched on her face. That evening, back in our living room, the divorce papers now removed from the table, we share a stilted dinner takeout Chinese food. Neither of us has an appetite, but we go through the motions. The silence is uncomfortable, memories of betrayal and confrontation swirling in the air. At length, Cassandra musters a shaky smile. So tomorrow, I guess we figure out how to move forward? I nod, setting my chopsticks aside. Yes, step by step. Maybe we start with honesty. If you feel neglected, speak up. If I'm resentful, I'll tell you. No more secrets. She murmurs agreement, eyes misty. I'd like that. And I hope one day you can forgive me enough that we can share a real marriage again. My heart clenches. I offer a tentative shrug. We'll see. I'm still hurt, Cassandra. This postnup is my shield. But I'll try not to wield it like a weapon if you keep your promise. She sets a hand on the table, palm up, as if inviting me to hold it. After a moment, I reach out, letting my fingertips brush hers. The contact sends a jolt of mixed emotions, sadness, longing, a faint glimmer of hope. We sit like that for a minute, neither daring to move further, forging a fragile connection across the rubble of our marriage. Outside, the night sky blankets Redwood Falls, the hush of autumn wind drifting through the trees. We might be stepping away from the brink of total destruction, but the scars remain, raw and deep. Still, the postnuptial agreement stands as proof of my resolve. And Cassandra's tearful signature, ironically enough, stands as her vow of renewed loyalty. We've survived the legal showdown for now, yet whether our marriage can endure remains an open question, one we'll face day by uncertain day. It's been a week since Cassandra and I signed the postnuptial agreement, withdrawing the divorce papers. Some days it feels like we're just two strangers sharing a roof. We eat the same meals, pass each other in the hall, exchange small talk about the weather or grocery lists, but beneath the politeness, a heavy layer of tension lingers. We've canceled all formal legal proceedings for now, but the awkward silence hangs in the air whenever we try to discuss the future. I still feel betrayed. Cassandra's still burdened by guilt. Sometimes I see her glance at me as if hoping to catch a glimpse of the warmth we once had. Yet the wounds are fresh. Saturday morning dawns cloudy. I shuffle into the kitchen for coffee, spotting Cassandra at the table, flipping through a local events newsletter. She offers me a tentative half-smile. Hey, she says, I, heard there's a small festival at Lakewood Park this weekend. Thought maybe we could check it out together? The idea of venturing out in public with her stirs mixed emotions. Part of me yearns for normalcy. Another part bristles, unsure if we're ready to act like a happy couple in front of neighbors. After a pause, I murmur, sure, why not? Relief flickers in her eyes. She quickly busies herself, making toast. We don't say much else, but the small step feels like progress, cautious, fragile progress. Later that day, we drive to Lakewood Park in near silence. A few blocks from the festival, the streets fill with cars, families on bikes, and strollers. Despite the crowd, a hush seems to settle between us. I park near a clump of trees and we walk side by side, not quite touching but maintaining a semblance of togetherness. Booths line the paths, selling homemade crafts, local produce and tacky souvenirs. The air smells of funnel cakes and kettle corn. A band plays soft acoustic music by the water. Cassandra points out a stall with colorful glass trinkets. In the past, she might have tugged my arm in excitement, but now she just nods, casting me a quick glance. They're pretty, right? I manage a smile. Yeah, they are. My voice sounds wooden. She notices but doesn't comment, her shoulders tensing momentarily. We wander deeper into the festival, passing neighbors and acquaintances. A few greet us politely. I sense their curious looks. Everyone knows rumors about our marriage troubles. Redwood Falls is too small to hide such drama, yet no one openly pries, perhaps out of respect or fear. Cassandra stops abruptly near a booth for local charities. They're displaying pictures of families and kids who need school supplies. She tucks a loose strand of hair behind her ear. "I used to volunteer for these events," she murmurs. "I feel guilty for letting so much get in the way." I nod, guilt gnawing at me too. Life got complicated. She exhales, tears glimmering but not falling. We let it get that way. Both of us. For a moment, I place a hand lightly on her shoulder. The contact feels electric. Neither of us has touched the other willingly in days. "Maybe we can volunteer together next time," I say quietly, surprising myself. She nods, lips trembling into a small smile. "I'd like that." The rest of the afternoon passes in a tentative peace. We try a few snacks, watch a puppet show meant for children, and exchange halting conversation. It's not exactly comfortable, but it's a start. By the time we leave, I feel like a weight has lifted a fraction from my chest. That night, we host a simple dinner for my old friend Colton Pierce, who's passing through town. He arrives with a case of craft beer under one arm and a warm grin. "You two look better," he says cautiously as Cassandra sets the table. I shrug, taking it day by day. Cassandra musters a polite smile. "We're trying, Colton." Over dinner, Colton avoids any direct mention of the old drama. Instead, he regales us with stories of a recent camping trip he took with some of his army buddies. Cassandra laughs at a few quips, seeming more relaxed than I've seen in weeks. I catch myself smiling genuinely for once, forgetting the tension swirling inside me. After we eat, Colton retires early, claiming a long drive in the morning. Cassandra and I linger in the living room. She fiddles with her phone. I browse the local news on my laptop. The hush between us feels more companionable than strained now. Quietly, she clears her throat. "Lucas? Thank you for going to the festival today. It meant a lot." I set my laptop aside, meeting her gaze. "It was a decent day," I admit, my voice softer than usual. Her eyes shimmer with cautious hope. "Maybe tomorrow we can head out for a walk or something?" I take a moment to answer. "Sure," I say. "Tomorrow." We exchange a fleeting smile before we both retreat. She to the bedroom, me to the couch. The post-nup might have paused the battle lines, but we're still not ready to share a bed. Despite the progress, a sense of unresolved pain clings to the air like a stubborn fog. As I lie awake, I remind myself that trust doesn't rebuild overnight. I recall the humiliations, the arguments, the near affair. Yet images from today's festival, a momentary laugh, the brush of her shoulder, the glimmer of normalcy whisper that maybe, just maybe, we can find a path forward. Emotional aftermath, indeed. The question remains, can we truly leave the past behind? 2 days after our tentative outing, Brielle Kane resurfaces like a bad dream. I'm in the kitchen, chopping vegetables, when Cassandra answers her buzzing phone with a wary glance at the screen. "It's Brielle," she mouths to me, grimacing. I nod for her to go ahead. Cassandra turns away, voice guarded. "Hello?" I can't hear Brielle's words, but I note Cassandra's posture tighten. "Why are you calling me?" she asks, tone clipped. Another pause. I don't think so, Brielle. You have some nerve." A bitter laugh. "No, I'm not going to speak up for you. You caused this." She ends the call, shoulders heaving in frustration. She wants me to write some character reference or letter to Redwood Securities claiming she's innocent. She actually expects me to fix her mess. I drop the knife onto the cutting board. "You're not actually considering it, right?" She shakes her head. "No, I told her I wouldn't. She threatened she'll come over and change my mind." "But I'm done, Lucas. She's toxic." I exhale, tension coiling in my chest. "If she tries showing up here again, we'll call the cops. I'm not letting her drag us back into chaos." Cassandra nods, relieved. I agree. That afternoon, I get a text from Grant Navarro, who's kept tabs on Brielle's situation. "Looks like Brielle is on the brink. Redwood Securities has enough evidence to press formal charges. She might leave town." I respond, "Good riddance." But late that evening, we hear the sound of a car pulling up in our driveway. Cassandra and I exchange tense glances. Before we can react, there's rapid knocking at the door. I swing it open, half expecting Brielle's furious face. Instead, a short woman with curly hair stands there, phone in hand. She glances at me uncertainly. "I'm looking for Cassandra Merrick," she says. "Brielle sent me to pick up some stuff. She said Cassandra has items of hers?" Cassandra steps forward, confusion knitting her brow. "I don't have anything of Brielle's. Who are you?" The woman shifts uneasily. "My name's Margot. I'm her cousin, apparently." She's frantic. Said something about a box of personal documents you'd borrowed. She wants them back. Cassandra's eyes narrow. "No. I don't know what she's talking about. I'm sorry." Margot exhales, obviously uncomfortable. "All right, so she lied. I'm sorry to bother you." She hesitates, then leans closer, lowering her voice. "Look, I barely know Brielle, but she's in trouble and insisted I do this favor. I guess I'll be on my way." With a quick nod, Margot retreats to her car, embarrassment etched on her face. Cassandra and I watch her taillights vanish down the street. The house falls quiet again. "Well, that's bizarre," Cassandra mutters, arms crossed. "Do you think Brielle's trying to stir up drama again?" I shrug, frustration simmering. "Likely. She's probably desperate, hoping to cause confusion or guilt trip you. I doubt this is the end of it. But as it turns out, it is. The very next day, I hear from Grant that Brielle has fled Redwood Falls. She apparently left in a hurry, skipping out on her apartment lease. Redwood Securities is moving forward with potential fraud charges, and no one has seen Brielle around. A rumor claims she crashed on a distant relative's couch in another state. When I share this news with Cassandra, her reaction is a mix of relief and sorrow. "I can't believe she's gone," she whispers. "We used to be so close." I sigh. "People change or reveal who they really are. She manipulated you from the start, Cassandra. Maybe it's best we don't dwell on it." She nods, wiping at her eyes. "I know. Still feels like a tragic end to a long friendship." With Brielle effectively out of our lives, a strange calm settles over the house. No more frantic calls, no more surprise visits. Cassandra's phone stays silent. As the days pass, I notice her sleeping better, her appetite returning. She invests more effort into the small design jobs she's taken on, even humming softly under her breath when she thinks no one's listening. One late afternoon, I find her organizing old photos in the living room. A scattering of images covers the coffee table snapshots from our wedding, holidays, and a few random weekends. She holds one up, gazing at it with a sad smile. It's a candid shot. I'm in my army uniform, Cassandra hugging me from behind, both of us beaming. She glances at me, eyes distant. That was before everything got so complicated, before I lost track of what truly mattered. A lump forms in my throat. "We can't go back in time," I say gently, "but maybe we can learn from it." She sets the photo aside and gives me a small nod. "Yeah, maybe we can." That evening, for the first time in months, Cassandra and I share a quiet moment on the couch side by side, a respectful foot of space between us. We watch an old black and white movie. She starts the film, and I eventually slip an arm across the back of the couch. She leans in a little, not quite touching me, but it's a gesture of mutual acceptance. Halfway through, a dramatic scene unfolds on screen. The heroine laments betrayal by someone she trusted. My stomach clenches. Cassandra shifts uncomfortably. Then she murmurs, "I'm sorry for everything, Lucas. For letting Brielle push me, for hurting you the way I did." I tighten my jaw. Part of me still aches with resentment, but a softer voice inside nudges me toward understanding. "We're both trying to move on," I say. "Brielle leaving, maybe that's a sign we can finally let that part of the past go." She offers a tentative smile. "I'd like that." We finish the movie in pensive silence. When the credits roll, we switch off the TV. Cassandra yawns, heading to the bedroom. I linger, turning off lights and locking doors. Just as I'm about to settle on the couch, she peeks from the hall, her voice almost shy. "If you want the beds big enough for both of us." The invitation sends a flutter of conflicting emotions. My pride wars with my longing for simple closeness. After a moment's hesitation, I flick off the last lamp. "Okay," I say softly. "Thanks." We lie down on opposite edges, the space between us feeling both tiny and enormous. The mattress creaks with each shift. I stare at the ceiling, aware of her breathing in the darkness. We're not exactly fine, but at least Brielle's shadow no longer hangs over us. Final departure indeed. As night stretches on, I realize that while one chapter of chaos has closed, the real test of our marriage, our fragile attempt at healing, has only begun. In the following days, Cassandra and I share the bed each night, still tense, but slowly growing used to the idea of closeness again. We maintain a cautious distance sometimes, just brushing elbows or shoulders, but it's a far cry from the angry separation of weeks past. Still, the deeper emotional gulf lingers. We both know a few nights' calm doesn't erase the betrayals. On a drizzly Tuesday, Cassandra tentatively suggests couples therapy, referencing the paths to redemption concept. "I found a counselor in Redwood Falls," she says, rummaging in her purse for a business card. "Her name's Dr. Helen McAdams. She specializes in marital issues." I feel a swirl of reluctance. I've never liked the idea of spilling personal details to a stranger. But Cassandra's determined expression and the raw state of our marriage push me to consider it. "I'll try," I say finally, my voice tight. "No promises." She exhales, relief clear on her face. "Thank you." We schedule an appointment for the following week. In the meantime, Cassandra pours herself into her freelance design work. I, too, stay busy, consulting for an old Army contact on a small logistics project. We operate like polite roommates, sharing coffee in the morning, dinner in the evening, sometimes exchanging brief smiles. Now and then, we hold short, intense discussions about our feelings, but it's easier to keep the peace with surface-level talk. The day of our first counseling session arrives, gray clouds overhead mirroring my mood. We drive separately, each preferring the comfort of our own space. Dr. McAdams' office is a cozy, converted bungalow near the edge of town. The waiting room has plush chairs, soft lamps, and a faint aroma of lavender. Cassandra sits across from me, anxiously tapping her foot. I stare at the muted TV, feeling a swirl of apprehension. Finally, a door opens, and a tall, kind-eyed woman beckons us in. "Come on back, Mr. and Mrs. Merrick." Her office has a couch and 2 chairs facing each other. We sit side by side on the couch, Dr. McAdams in a chair opposite. She begins gently. "So, tell me what brings you here." There's a beat of silence. Cassandra fiddles with her wedding ring, eyes downcast. I clear my throat. "We're recovering from a lot of mistrust and betrayal," I say, voice measured. "We nearly divorced. Now we're trying to see if we can fix what's left." Cassandra nods, adding softly, "I made terrible mistakes, but he also retaliated and we both let things escalate." Dr. McAdams listens, occasionally jotting notes. Over the next half hour, she asks open-ended questions, guiding us to reflect on our feelings. Cassandra admits her fears of losing me, how she felt overshadowed by my stoic demeanor and hidden business dealings. I speak about my hurt, the contract fiasco, the near affair with Damien. The mention of Damien's name sparks a flash of pain, but I keep my composure. We dance around the hardest truths, though. The bitter humiliation we inflicted on each other. The possibility that our marriage might be irreparably damaged. Dr. McAdams senses it. She gently prods. "How do you both view forgiveness? Is it something you're aiming for?" I let out a slow breath. "I'm not sure. I'm willing to try, but I can't guarantee I'll ever forget." Cassandra's eyes brim with tears. "I don't expect him to forget. I just hope we can find a way to move forward without hate." Dr. McAdams nods. "That's a start. Remember, rebuilding trust is a process. I suggest you both focus on open communication, no more secrets, no more revenge plots." I manage a wry smile. "No more revenge. Noted." Cassandra squeezes my hand briefly, a trembling gesture of gratitude. We leave with heavy hearts, but also a glimmer of direction. Over the next few weeks, we continue these sessions exploring patterns in our communication, practicing honest admissions of fear and insecurity. It's emotionally draining, yet each session peels back a layer of resentment. During this period, Cassandra lands a bigger design contract with a local boutique chain. She's excited, and I see her confidence returning, her posture straighter, her laughter freer when she shares a funny anecdote about a color scheme fiasco. Meanwhile, I finalize a consultancy project for a shipping firm, spending long nights analyzing logistics data. The routine keeps our minds busy and helps us inch toward normalcy. One evening after therapy, Cassandra and I linger at a small cafe for coffee. She stirs her latte, eyes flicking to me. Dr. McAdams wants us to do that exercise, writing down what we appreciate about each other. Are you okay with that? I shrug, feeling self-conscious. Sure, might be awkward, but I'll do it. A faint, hopeful smile. I'll go first. I appreciate that you're protective. You always had my back, at least before everything went wrong. Even your network, well, I know it's complicated, but it made me feel safe once. Heat prickles my cheeks. I appreciate your creativity. You see beauty in small details, something I never really did until I met you. She looks touched, blinking back tears. Thank you, she whispers. It's a small moment of honesty, but it feels monumental in our battered marriage. The rest of the night we chat softly about mundane things, town gossip, Netflix shows, her new design ideas. It's the most relaxed we've been since the fiasco began. Yet not all is smooth. Some nights I catch myself replaying images of Cassandra with Damien, that near kiss. My resentment flares. I snap at her over trivial matters like the way she organizes the dishes, or the times she forgets to lock the front door. Other times, she grows defensive, misreading my silence as disapproval, retreating into tears. Dr. McAdams warns us that healing isn't linear. There will be setbacks, she says, but keep focusing on open dialogue. To my surprise, Cassandra stands firm. She doesn't storm off as she might have before. Instead, she meets my anger with quiet apologies or gentle reassurance. She's determined to show she's changed. One night, after a particularly tense argument over how we'll handle finances if she wants to expand her business, Cassandra pulls me aside. I know it's scary for you, trusting me with anything that could be turned against you, she says, voice trembling. But I promise I won't do what I did before, that contract that was wrong. I draw a breath, forcing myself to see the sincerity in her eyes. Slowly, I exhale, nodding. Okay, we'll figure something out. Let's talk again tomorrow, calmly. She smiles, albeit shakily. Thank you. Even as doubts plague me, I cling to these small breakthroughs. Dr. McAdams calls them green shoots, the first signs that a frostbitten garden might regrow. Paths to redemption, indeed. Are we truly forging one? Time will tell. As autumn settles over Redwood Falls, the leaves turn vivid shades of orange and red. Life between Cassandra and me feels warmer, too still delicate, but no longer as frigid or hostile. We're in a better rhythm, sharing morning coffee, exchanging gentle teasing about daily chores, heading to therapy sessions that, while exhausting, seem to help us communicate honestly. Then, one crisp afternoon, opportunity literally knocks on my front door in the form of a certified letter. Cassandra hands it to me, curiosity evident on her face. The return address is unfamiliar, something from a major logistics company, Trans-Global Solutions, based in Chicago. I open it, scanning the first lines. It's an offer of a high-level consulting position well paid, with a potential path to an executive role. My pulse quickens. They want me to come in for an interview, I say slowly. This is big. Cassandra sets aside her design sketches, eyes wide. Wow, Chicago's not exactly next door, she murmurs. Would it require relocation? I glance deeper into the letter. Possibly. Or lots of travel. They're expanding internationally, it seems. My mind buzzes with the possibilities. Higher income, fresh challenges, a chance to utilize my old military logistics expertise, but also distance from Redwood Falls and from Cassandra. She fidgets, a flicker of worry crossing her features. Is this something you want to pursue? I blow out a breath. It's tempting. I haven't felt truly challenged in a while. My current freelance gigs are fine, but this is on a different scale. Her smile is shaky. I know you'd do great, Lucas. You have the skills. Then her gaze drops. But what would it mean for us? I pause, heart pounding. The specter of separation looms especially after everything we've gone through. I'm not sure, I admit. I guess I should check the interview date, see if it's feasible to commute. Maybe there's a compromise. Cassandra nods, though the tension in her posture remains. I don't want to hold you back. You've sacrificed a lot for me. But I'm scared if you move away, we'll lose what little progress we've made. Her vulnerability tugs at me. Let's not jump to conclusions, I say gently, placing a hand over hers. I'll do some research, see if working remotely part-time is an option. The letter might have more details. She musters a small, grateful smile. Okay. Over the next days, I immerse myself in investigating trans-global solutions, their corporate structure, mission statements, expansions in Europe and Asia. Every bullet point underscores how big this could be a chance to reinvent my career, to leverage my military background in a global arena. My old restlessness stirs. Redwood Falls has felt confining ever since I returned. Even with the drama of our marriage, I've sometimes yearned for a larger stage. At the same time, I feel a new tie tethering me here. Cassandra's attempts at redemption, our fragile progress in therapy, a glimmer of healing. If I uproot myself now, I might uproot us both, snuffing out the green shoots we've nurtured. Cassandra senses my turmoil. One morning, she brings me coffee and sits beside me at the dining table, gazing at the laptop open to TransGlobal's website. How's your research going? I rub the back of my neck. They're legit. Good reputation, cutting-edge systems. The role would be intense, overseeing major logistics expansions. The pay is impressive. She bites her lip, eyes flicking to the screen. And you're excited, right? Despite my caution, I feel a flicker of genuine enthusiasm. Yeah, I am. Cassandra nods slowly. Then go for it. At least interview. See what they say. I can't stand in your way, Lucas. If I did, I'd be repeating my old mistakes, controlling your life. I blink, taken aback by her maturity. You're sure? She offers a weak but sincere smile. We can figure it out together. Maybe we can even move eventually if we're strong enough. Or if it requires you to be away sometimes, we'll find a compromise. Her words spark a faint warmth in my chest. She's offering to adapt, rather than sabotage my ambitions as she once did. I appreciate that, I murmur. Still one step at a time. Let me schedule the interview, see how it pans out. Cassandra stands, placing a hand lightly on my shoulder. Whatever happens, I'm proud of you for taking this leap. We share a tentative moment of connection like old times, when we supported each other's goals unconditionally. I cover her hand with mine, giving it a gentle squeeze. Thank you. As the interview date draws near, a subtle anxiety ripples through our daily life. During therapy sessions, Dr. McAdams helps us discuss our fears about this opportunity, the potential distance or relocation. Cassandra confesses she's afraid of being left behind, stuck in Redwood Falls with half a marriage, while I build a new life in a big city. I, in turn, admit my own fear, that leaving might reopen the door to her drifting away or seeking comfort in reckless ways. The counselor encourages us to form a plan, clear communication about schedules, visits, and whether Cassandra might later join me if the job becomes permanent. One late night, I'm packing an overnight bag for the upcoming trip to Chicago for the interview. Cassandra sits on the edge of the bed, watching me fold shirts. I keep having this dream, she confesses quietly, where you never come back. You just call me from Chicago or London or somewhere far away and say you're happier without me. The vulnerability in her voice knots my stomach. I set the shirts aside, kneeling in front of her. I'm not looking to run off, I say, resting my hands gently on her knees. Yes, I feel restless. But I won't vanish. We have a postnup. I manage a small, teasing smile. And more importantly, we're trying to rebuild something. She sniffles. I know. It's just old insecurities creeping back. I brush a tear from her cheek. We face them together, right? She smiles through her tears, nodding. Together, she echoes. In that moment, I sense how far we've come since the bitter days of betrayal, ultimatum, and revenge. We're still fragile, uncertain, but we're talking, sharing fears, showing care. The final outcome remains unclear, yet there's a flicker of hope I never expected to feel again. Night deepens, and as Cassandra curls into bed, I remain awake, staring at my suitcase, the job offer letter, and a swirl of thoughts about the future. Redwood Falls was supposed to be a peaceful retirement, but it turned into a battleground. Now, an opportunity stands at my door, possibly leading me away from this small town and from the heartbreak that started here. But heartbreak can follow anywhere, I remind myself. If Cassandra and I truly want to heal, we'll have to carry that healing forward, no matter where we live. My chest tightens, a mixture of excitement and fear weaving through me. Tomorrow, I think, I'll take that first step in interview that could reshape my entire life. Whether it tears us apart or brings us closer remains a question for the days ahead. For now, I quietly close my eyes, letting the hush of the house soothe me, aware that the biggest choices and consequences are yet to come. I wake to the sound of rain tapping against the bedroom window. It's early morning, the sky barely light. Cassandra still dozes beside me, her hair fanned across the pillow. For a moment, I watch her inhale and exhale, that slight crease between her brows betraying restless sleep. My mind churns with thoughts I've pushed off for too long. Today, I've decided, is the day I truly take stock of my life. There's no single event prompting it, just the creeping realization that my future looms larger than the past I keep replaying. The familiar ache in my chest returns, the memory of Cassandra's betrayal, the anger that fueled my quiet revenge, our shaky attempts at rebuilding. Now, a new job offer across state lines, maybe even beyond, forces me to contemplate everything all at once. Slipping from the bed, I pull on jeans and a sweatshirt, careful not to wake Cassandra. In the kitchen, I brew a pot of coffee and contemplate the drizzle outside. The dull gray sky mirrors my mood. Am I happy here? I wonder. A question both simple and impossibly heavy. By the time I've had 2 cups, it's pushing 7 a.m. I text my old Army confidant, Colton Pierce. Free to talk? Need your perspective. He responds almost immediately. Sure. Meet at Kaylee's kitchen in 30. Perfect. Cassandra emerges from the bedroom as I'm finishing up. She rubs her eyes, stifling a yawn. You're heading out? I nod, forcing a small smile. Yeah, meeting Colton. Just gotta clear my head. She rests a hand on the counter. Let me know if you need anything, okay? Her voice is tentative, as though scared I'll snap. Thanks, I say. I'll be back soon. At Kaylee's kitchen, the rain leaves streaks on the big front windows. Inside, the smell of bacon and coffee wraps me in nostalgia. Colton waves me over to a booth. He's already got a plate of scrambled eggs in front of him, half-eaten. Lucas, he greets, eyes sharp. What's on your mind? I sit, inhaling slowly. Everything, man. The potential job with Transglobal, my marriage, Redwood Falls. I've been through a storm. Part of me wonders if staying is a mistake. Part of me wonders if leaving is running away. Colton sips his coffee, nodding. Tell me about the job first. You excited? I shrug, fiddling with a sugar packet. It's a big role, bigger pay, but might require relocation. Cassandra's worried about losing our progress if I go. I'm worried about losing it if I stay stuck. He leans forward. You mentioned Redwood Falls was your retirement dream once, but everything changed with the marital drama. Do you still see a future here? My stomach twists. I'm not sure. I keep replaying the betrayal, the revenge plot, the hush-hush way I manipulated folks. This town has too many ghosts now, but if I pack up and go, am I taking the heartbreak with me? Colton sets his coffee down, gaze sympathetic. Heartbreak can follow, yeah, but so can healing. Question is, do you see Redwood Falls as your place anymore, or is it a reminder of everything that went wrong? His words echo my own secret fears. I don't know, I murmur. I also worry about Cassandra's sincerity. She's trying, but what if I uproot us and it all falls apart anyway? Colton gives a lopsided shrug. No guarantees in life. But you're a strategist, lay out your options. Weigh the risk. Make a decision you can live with. I manage a small grin. Easier said than done. We talk another half hour, picking apart each angle. Colton suggests I also chat with Grant Navarro, my legal consultant and friend, for his perspective on the financial side. Before heading out, Colton grips my shoulder. Whatever you decide, do it for yourself, not out of guilt. That's key. Outside, the rain has tapered off. I drive to Grant's small downtown office, the wipers squeaking against the damp windshield. My heart thuds as I pull into a parking space, already mulling the conversation in my head. Grant greets me with a warm handshake, guiding me to a tiny conference room. I cut to the chase. I'm considering a big job opportunity. Might leave Redwood Falls. If that happens, I want to ensure my finances, my assets remain secure. Grant nods, flipping open a folder. Well, your post-nuptial agreement is ironclad. If Cassandra were to break your trust again, you're safe. But if you move, how does that dynamic change? Will she move with you? Stay behind? That's what I'm not sure about yet, I admit. She's hinted she might come along, but I sense fear in her. She doesn't want to lose me, but maybe she's also afraid of losing her newly re-established routine here. Grant taps a pen against the folder. Legally, you're covered, but emotionally, that's trickier. If you want my personal opinion, Redwood Falls has become a minefield for you. Starting fresh might help if Cassandra is truly on board and you two can keep building trust. I rub my temples. Everyone keeps saying the same thing. Redwood Falls is full of ghosts, but I once thought it was my anchor. He smiles gently. Anchors can drag you down if they're rotted. Take time to weigh your emotional well-being as much as your finances. I nod, rising from my seat. Thanks, Grant. I appreciate the honesty. Leaving his office, I feel the swirl of conflicting emotions intensify. Redwood Falls has been both my refuge and my battleground. Cassandra is part of that identity now, for better or worse. That evening, I return home to find Cassandra poring over some design sketches on the living room floor. She looks up, anxiety rippling in her gaze. How was your day? I hesitate. I met with Colton, then Grant. I'm trying to figure out if I should stay or go, basically. She sets her sketches aside, swallowing. I see. She forces a small smile. Any conclusions? I shake my head. Not yet, but I'm leaning toward taking the interview, possibly the job if it feels right. She nods, expression cautious. I want you to do what's best for you, Lucas. Just please don't shut me out of the decision. A pang of tenderness and regret blends in my chest. I won't. That's why I'm telling you now. She reaches for my hand, eyes earnest. Thank you. For a moment, we're silent, her slender fingers warm against mine. Then she quietly says, I know we've had a rocky road, but She falters, voice trembling. I do care about your happiness. You might not believe me fully, but I'm trying to show it. I squeeze her hand gently. I see it, I murmur, though I'm still uncertain if it's enough. After a strained pause, she goes back to her sketches, and I head to the kitchen to fix us some dinner. As I chop vegetables, my mind churns. The day has been about taking stock, analyzing each piece of my life. The marriage, the revenge, the bitterness, the slim possibility of real reconciliation, and the lure of a brand new start. I'm forced to accept that I can't stay in limbo forever. A decision is brewing, inevitable. And soon I'll have to face what it means for both me and Cassandra in this uncertain, fragile new future. The following week, the clouds have cleared, leaving crisp autumn sunshine over Redwood Falls. My interview with Trans Global Solutions is scheduled for tomorrow in Chicago, so I spend the morning polishing my resume and reading up on the company's latest developments. I've even got a suit laid out, the same one I wore to a friend's wedding 2 years ago, back when my life felt simpler. I'm double-checking the directions on my phone when Cassandra appears in the doorway, wearing a navy blouse and jeans, her hair pulled back in a loose ponytail. Her expression is taut with determination. Lucas, can we talk for a minute? Sure, I say, setting my phone aside. What's up? She steps forward, a folded piece of paper in her hand. I've been thinking about the possibility of you taking that job, and about me going with you. My stomach flips. You want to move too? She nods, eyes flicking downward. If you'll have me. I know I don't deserve an automatic invitation after everything, but I've started looking at design opportunities in bigger cities. I might stand a chance at better contracts or even a small studio. Redwood Falls is small and, well, you're not the only one who could use a fresh start. I lean back in my chair, heart pounding. This is quite a shift. I thought you wanted to stay near your comfort zone. She exhales shakily. I did, or at least I was scared of leaving. But the more I see you wrestle with the decision, the more I realize I don't want to lose what we've been trying to rebuild. If you go and I stay, our marriage is basically on life support, right? I can't entirely deny it. Long distance might be tough, especially with our history. She presses her lips together, then unfolds the paper. I made a list pros and cons. Sticking around Redwood Falls means I keep some familiarity, but also a place full of painful memories. Going with you means risking a new environment, but it could help us truly start over. I glance at the scribbled columns of her list reasons for staying, reasons for leaving. So you're serious about relocating? Her voice wavers, but she pushes on. Yes, I want to show you I'm committed, not just with words. If you're willing to let me come, I'll do everything I can to support your career while building my own without falling into old patterns of control or jealousy. My heart constricts. Part of me is relieved. Another part is suspicious. Are you sure you're not just afraid I'll choose the job over you? That you'll be left behind with no leverage? A flash of hurt crosses her face. I'm sure fear is part of it, she admits softly. But I'm also excited like a chance to prove myself in a bigger market, and a chance for us to see if we can function without Redwood Falls defining us. I rub my temples, torn between hope and caution. What about your family here? The few friends you still have left? She shrugs. My parents moved out of state last year. The friends I have are mostly acquaintances. Honestly, Redwood Falls doesn't feel like home anymore since we went through everything. It's just familiar ground. I let that sink in. I can't promise anything. I still have to nail the interview, see the contract details. But if I do accept the job, I'd be open to you joining me. Her shoulders sag with relief. That's all I ask. Let me be part of your decision. A fragile silence follows, charged with possibility. Cassandra sets the paper aside. Also, I'm sorry for how I pressured you in the past. My threat to move away from you unless you changed, it was manipulative. A wave of old bitterness flickers in me, but I quell it. We've both apologized plenty, I say gently. Let's focus on now. She nods, managing a shaky smile. Agreed. Later that day, while Cassandra's out shopping, I prepare for the trip. I lay out the few suits I own, selecting ties that still fit me better after I lost some weight. Ironically, the forced weight loss ultimatum did push me to get healthier even if it was a toxic approach. Life is complicated. I call Colton, updating him. Cassandra offered to move if I take the job, I explain. I'm cautiously hopeful, but also worried she's doing it out of fear or guilt. His voice crackles over the line. Man, if you accept, only time will tell if her intentions are pure. But her willingness is a good sign. People can change. I nod, though he can't see me. Yeah, I guess so. Thanks. After hanging up, I stare at my reflection in the mirror, clean-shaven, hair neatly combed. My eyes look uncertain, though. Is it love or guilt? That's the question. No one can answer it but Cassandra. Or maybe me, eventually, through her actions over time. That night, we share a quiet dinner roast chicken, sautéed vegetables. Cassandra hums softly as she plates the food, a nervous energy buzzing around her. Do you have your train ticket? She asks, clearly trying to hide her anxiety behind practical questions. I nod, cutting into the chicken. Ticket's in my wallet, suit's in the garment bag. I'll probably leave before sunrise tomorrow. She twists her napkin, nodding. Okay. Then, swallowing, she adds, I, wanted to let you know I found a possible design studio in Chicago that's renting small spaces to freelancers. If you get the job, I might check it out, assuming you still want me around. The vulnerability in her voice tugs at me. We'll figure it out, I say gently. I appreciate you making plans. A faint blush tints her cheeks as she picks at her vegetables. We eat mostly in silence, the tension thick but not hostile. It's an odd limbo, neither of us certain how to behave with an impending decision that could upend our routines. When we clean up, Cassandra quietly thanks me for dinner and heads to the bedroom. I linger in the living room, lost in thought. She's shown more humility, more genuine concern for my well-being. But my old wariness flares. What if it's an act? Then again, the therapy sessions, her tearful admissions, the post-nup signature, maybe it's not an act at all, but genuine remorse. Eventually, I slip into bed. Cassandra lies curled on her side, half asleep. I settle beside her, still maintaining a respectful distance, but close enough that I feel the warmth of her body. She stirs slightly, murmuring, "Good luck tomorrow. I believe in you." The simple statement tugs at my chest. "Thanks," I whisper. Tomorrow I journey for an interview that might redefine the next chapter of my life. Cassandra's offer stands in the background. To come along, to stand by me if I choose to relocate, if I accept her help, if I trust her sincerity, everything could change. For now, I let the hush of the night lull me, aware that dawn will bring the first steps toward a final decision for me, for her, for us. I'm on the highway at dawn, the sky shifting from navy to pale gold. The train station is 2 hours away. After I park, I'll ride into Chicago for the interview. My mind bounces between excitement, new career horizons, and dread at the upheaval. Yet I can't deny a surge of adrenaline at the prospect of stepping into a bigger arena than Redwood Falls. I meet with Transglobal Solutions around mid-morning. The interview unfolds in a sleek high-rise overlooking the city skyline. A conference room with glass walls, an HR manager and 2 department leads pepper me with questions about my military logistics background, how I handle high-pressure expansions. I answer confidently, thinking of all the strategic moves I made in Redwood Falls, though I keep that drama to myself. Their interest is palpable. At the end, the HR manager smiles. "We're impressed, Mr. Merrick. We'll contact you soon with a formal offer. Tentatively, we'd love to bring you on as a senior logistics director. Salary and relocation assistance are definitely part of the package." I manage a calm "thank you," even as my heart hammers. Senior logistics director? That's bigger than I imagined. They escort me out, and I step onto the bustling city street, exhaling into the crisp air. Adrenaline thrums. A turn in the road, indeed my life could veer drastically from this moment onward. On the train ride back, the cityscape transitions to rolling fields and smaller towns. I gaze out the window, phone in hand, debating whether to call Cassandra. Finally, I text, "Interview went well. They're offering a major role. We'll talk details soon." Her reply buzzes minutes later. "So proud of you. Can't wait to hear more." 3 inches. A warmth seeps through me that I haven't felt in a while. I catch my reflection in the window, a faint smile on my lips. The tension in my chest loosens. Could we actually do this? Move away from Redwood Falls, away from the ghosts, and start anew? Late evening, I drive into Redwood Falls under a sky spattered with stars. Cassandra is waiting in the living room, pacing nervously. The moment I enter, she rushes forward, eyes wide. "How was it?" I set down my bag. "They want me," I say simply, removing my jacket. "A high-level position, big salary, relocation package. I might even travel overseas occasionally." She inhales sharply, joy flickering across her face before it dims with caution. "That's amazing, Lucas. Truly. So, does that mean you'll accept?" "I'm leaning that way," I admit, "but it's a massive decision. We'd have to uproot our entire life, or I guess I would if you decide not to come." She sets a hand on her chest, voice trembling. "No, I want to be with you. I'd follow you if you let me. I've started scanning rental listings in Chicago just in case. I'm sure I can find some design gigs or rent a small workspace." My heart twists, half thrilled, half wary. "So you're serious? This isn't just talk?" She steps closer, searching my eyes. "I'm serious, I promise. I want a clean slate for both of us." A surge of emotion wells in me. The memory of how she once threatened to leave if I didn't lose weight. The betrayal with Damien, my cold retaliation. Yet here she stands, offering to leave behind the town she once insisted on controlling me in. The magnitude of it settles over me like a heavy blanket. I nod slowly. "I haven't finalized my decision, but if I do accept, I want us to do it right. No hidden agendas, no regrets." She exhales shakily, smiling through tears. Agreed, we face it head-on, together. In the days that follow, Transglobal emails me a formal offer. It's generous far beyond my earlier expectations. They want me to start in 2 weeks, possibly earlier if I can manage. The whirlwind of details, relocation allowances, benefits, an apartment search threatens to engulf me. Between calls and emails, I wander Redwood Falls, contemplating the emotional baggage the town holds. One afternoon, I drive past the old bar where Cassandra used to dance with other men. Another block brings me to the street near Brielle's now vacant apartment, a "for rent" sign in the window. This place is saturated with memories, many bitter, some fleetingly sweet. I realize with startling clarity, I'm ready to say goodbye. My quiet influence over local businesses, the hush-hush retaliation I enacted, even the paternal presence I tried to maintain over Cassandra's social circle, none of it feels like me anymore. The regret at stooping to that level still tugs at my conscience. A fresh start might wash away the grime of old feuds, letting me reclaim my sense of integrity. That night, I share these thoughts with Cassandra over a simple pasta dinner. She nods, relief in her eyes. I've felt similarly. So many places here remind me of mistakes, regrets. I never admitted it until now, but Redwood Falls stopped feeling like home the day everything blew up. We both need something new. I grasp her hand across the table. Then let's do it. Let's accept the offer. We'll move. We'll keep going to therapy if needed, maybe find a new counselor in the city. We see if we can truly rebuild. Her eyes shine with cautious happiness. I'd love that. A swell of emotion clenches my throat. It's terrifying, you know, I admit quietly. Pulling up roots again, stepping into a new city, trusting that we can fix ourselves. She squeezes my hand. It is, but maybe we're stronger together if we face it head-on. In that moment, I sense we're at the cusp, a turn in the road that leads away from Redwood Falls and into the unknown. I still carry wounds, and trust doesn't mend overnight. Yet Cassandra's offer to stand by me, to relocate and embrace the future, ignites a fragile hope. For the first time in a long while, I feel like I'm choosing the path rather than running from it. The next week rushes by in a blur of packing boxes, phone calls, and tearful goodbyes to the few acquaintances we still speak to in Redwood Falls. Transglobal's relocation service sends a polite coordinator who helps us arrange a rental in Chicago, a modest 2-bedroom apartment near my new office. Cassandra finds a small co-working design studio she can join. It's all happening faster than I expected. On our final morning in the house, I awake to the sunlight streaming through the half-bare windows. We've sold or donated most of our bulky furniture, wanting a fresh start in the new city. Cassandra is already up, taping a box shut in the living room. She looks over, eyes lingering on me. "Morning," she says softly. "This is it, huh?" I nod, heart pounding with a mix of nostalgia and relief. "Yeah, we hand over the keys at noon." She sets the tape dispenser down, scanning the empty walls. "Remember when we first moved in here? I was excited to be near your hometown, convinced we'd have a perfect life." She gives a small, sad laugh. Funny how things change. I join her, resting a hand on her shoulder. "We can't erase the past," I say, "but maybe we can learn from it." She turns toward me, eyes shimmering. "Lucas, I promise you no matter what challenges come, I'll never betray your trust like that again. I know words aren't enough, but I need you to know I mean it." I search her face. Tears threaten to well in my own eyes. Finally, I draw her into a gentle embrace. We stand like that for a moment, the hush of the empty house echoing around us. So much pain and regret happened under this roof, yet here we are, choosing to step forward together. Around noon, we sign the final paperwork with the realtor, handing over keys. Outside, the sky is clear a bright, optimistic blue. Cassandra and I load the last few boxes into my SUV. We linger by the front gate for a moment, both of us quiet. A swirl of memories hits me. That first argument about my weight, the nights I snuck around enacting retribution, the humiliating contract pinned to the fridge, then the more recent attempts at reconciliation late-night confessions, the post-nuptial agreement. Redwood Falls was supposed to be a peaceful retirement, but it became a war zone. Now all that is behind us. She glances up. "You ready?" I nod, swallowing. "Ready." We slip into the car, close the doors, and drive away from the house that was once our dream. The road stretches ahead, shimmering with the summer heat. Cassandra reaches for my hand across the center console, and I let our fingers intertwine. The gesture feels intimate, a quiet vow to face whatever awaits. After about an hour of driving, we pull over at a scenic overlook, just a small rest stop with a bench near a pond. I kill the engine and we step out. A breeze rustles the grass, and the reflection of cotton candy clouds drifts on the water's surface. We sit on the bench, side by side, taking in the serenity. Cassandra stares at the horizon, voice hushed. "I guess this is where our new chapter begins. No Redwood Falls, no Betrayal, no old grudges, Just us. I nod, exhaling slowly. I used to think revenge and control would fix my hurt, but it only deepened it. Now, I want something else. Peace, maybe. She gazes at me, eyes glassy with emotion. I'll do my best to give you that. And if I slip up, if old insecurities flare, I'll be honest instead of sneaky. I manage a small smile. I'll try to communicate too, instead of plotting from the shadows. A soft laugh escapes her. Deal. We sit there for a while, the gentle splash of a fish surfacing in the pond, the only sound. My mind drifts to the job ahead, long hours, new coworkers, an intense environment. It's daunting, but also thrilling. And for the first time in ages, I feel a sense of purpose beyond orchestrating hidden vengeance or brooding over betrayal. Eventually, we return to the car. As we merge onto the highway, I sense a sort of closure settling over me. A new chapter is indeed beginning a place far from Redwood Falls, from the tangled webs we wove there. Cassandra squeezes my hand gently. I meet her gaze, offering a tentative nod that says, "We'll find out if we can truly rebuild." Miles spool out beneath our tires, carrying us toward a future that's equal parts uncertain and hopeful. Maybe we'll make it, maybe the scars run too deep. But at least we're facing it together, eyes open, forging a path that isn't dictated by revenge or regret. The cost of betrayal was high, but if we've gained wisdom in its wake, perhaps that's enough to carry us forward.